The Bukit Jalil Aquatic Center, the venue of the swimming competition in what has been a golden journey for Team Singapore thus far. Having a look at the warm-up pool where most of the swimmers are at the moment. The Malaysian coaches, having already enjoyed Wilson Sim's swim yesterday, hope that Wilson can do something short of a miracle in leading the Malaysian side in the 4x100 meters freestyle relay, which is the final race of the night. 6 events for day 2 of competition, beginning with the women's 200 meters backstroke and then the men's women's 50 meters breaststroke, the 200 meters butterfly, 400 meters freestyle, and of course the 400 meters freestyle relay final, where Singapore have a crack team this time around. We'll talk more about that along the way. Once again, Gerald Koh with me here at the Aquatic Center. Looking forward to a day 2 of competition. It was a fantastic day for Singapore yesterday, 3 gold medals, and looking at the list, it might be a repeat performance today.
Good evening, Mark. Thanks for having me on board. Yes, I think 3 gold medals yesterday was quite impressive, and today as well, that's been a target, right? Coming in to get 3 gold medals. I think what they've scheduled in is for Roanne to defend her title in the 50-meter breaststroke, and obviously we've got Zheng Wen in the 200-meter butterfly, and then obviously the relay that you just spoke about, the men's 4x100-meter freestyle relay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a while, because there are a few dream teams, and there are a few words being brandished with that term dream team, and sometimes it's used way too loosely, but this time around we can say that this is probably Singapore's dream team in terms of a freestyle relay. The Malaysian fans were very, very happy with Wilson's performance yesterday, and they have turned up in droves. I hear as well that they have even composed songs for Singapore while they were enjoying the venues and all the festivities at every venue of these SEA Games thus far. So the swimmers all set and ready to go. We talked about Roanne Ho, we talked about Kwa Zheng Wen, and we talked about our 4x100 meters freestyle relay, but we haven't talked about a batch of Singapore swimmers that are going before that, and that of course starts with Faith Khoo and Hannah Kwek in the 200 meters backstroke, and then Lionel Khoo. Now that might be something special. If he manages to pull it off, he will become the first Singapore swimmer to win the 200 meters breaststroke at the SEA Games.
Yes, he would be, and he looked really good this morning, right? I think the Thai champion Kitin, he looked a little bit tired, a little bit sluggish, whereas Lionel looked really comfortable, very long stroke. So I think Lionel has a very, very good opportunity this time to win the 200 meter breaststroke. Well,
we'll see about that in no time as we await the arrival of the first batch of swimmers. Nguyen Thian Vien, there is the Thian Vien watch as well, not just from the Vietnamese but from a lot of people who remember her feats of winning 8 gold medals from the last SEA Games in Singapore. She is slated for 2 events today, and 2 grueling events, including this, the first one. Yesterday she won the 100 meters backstroke, and that, by the way, was her first victory in the 100 meters backstroke, which means she has won gold medals now in 9 different events. Only in 3 events has she managed to win it at least 2 in a row, and this is one of them. She's looking to become the first person to win this event for 3 games in a row since Chonlathon Vorathomrong of Thailand in 2005. Only 3, and also become the only the third person to win 3 in a row in the 200 meters backstroke after Chonlathom and Nania Sujic of Indonesia. So she's the hard favorite, and she will go in lane number 4. The SEA Games record 2:14.12, her record 2:12.25. Cambodians not featured in the finals, and the Philippines, who had a wonderful SEA Games the last time out in terms of winning medals, well, they're hoping that they win with Roxanne Yu, who is swimming beside Thian Vien in the 200 meters backstroke. They are looking for their first gold medal from a female swimmer since 1993, when Akiko Thompson won this event back when the SEA Games were held in Singapore. So Thian Vien watch, of course, 400 meters freestyle, her final event, but her first at 200 meters backstroke, and looking at the times this year, it looks as if it's almost in the bag for the Vietnamese.
I would think so. Again, this is a race for her to lose. She looked really comfortable this morning. She wasn't taking it out hard, and given the swim yesterday, the 100 meter breaststroke, 100 meter backstroke, where she won it so easily, I think this is going to be almost a shoe-in for her in winning the gold.
Yeah, I don't know whether she will go after those records as well, because knowing that she's got the 400 meters freestyle race still to come at the end of the night. But there she is, Nguyen Thian Vien. going after another gold medal, which will be her 13th at the Southeast Asian Games. Looking at the lanes right now, Nurul Fajar Fitriati, who was silver medalist yesterday at the 100 meters backstroke and third at the Islamic Solidarity Games in this event, is in lane number 1. Beside her compatriot Yesi Yosaputra, who was the 2011 champion and the last person to beat Vientiane in this event. Hannah Kwek, who was 5th in 2015, is in lane number 3. And Tian Vien herself, already a gold medalist in these games, is in lane number 4. She also won bronze at the Asian Games in this event. Roxanne Yu, who looked very impressive this morning despite finishing only 8th in the 100 meters backstroke yesterday, swims in lane number 5. And Faith Khoo, the 14-year-old Singaporean who was 7th at last year's Asian Swimming Champs, is in lane number 6. Thailand haven't won a medal in this event since 2009. There's only been one Thai winner, that is Chonlathom Vorathomrong. They've got 2 swimmers side by side in lanes 7 and 8, Yamsan Phonpray and Araya Wongvat respectively. Araya was 6th in yesterday's 100 meters backstroke and 6th in this event back in 2015. So the SEA Games record held by Nguyen Tian Vien, set in Singapore. And she is a red-hot favorite here. Remember, that is not her best time. Her best time was clocked at the Asian Games in 2014, 2:12.25. She's the only swimmer in Southeast Asia to regularly go below the 2:15 mark in the 200 meters back. Nguyen Tian Vien won this event in 2013 by 5.45 seconds. That's the biggest winning margin in this event since 1975. And she is gunning for that big margin victory once again in her 2 events tonight, starting with this one. And yet again, she has gotten off to a flyer. Her breakouts in the backstroke yesterday and today have just been absolutely perfect.
Absolutely. I mean, she uses that underwater kick to her advantage, right? So I guess backstroke, that's the most important thing. I'm surprised to see her taking out so quickly today. We'll see what happens in the second half, whether she might back off a little bit, as you mentioned, because she's got 2 events today. The only thing about it with the backstroke is that it's very hard to see where your competitors are. So, you know, that might not be a risk that she's willing to take, where she kind of slows down to conserve some energy for her second event.
My goodness, the race is almost won after 50 meters and we still have 150 to go. Going at the halfway stage, Nguyen Tian Vien's already 2.5 body lengths, 3 body lengths ahead of her nearest rivals, led by Roxanne Yu and Faith Khoo, who is in 3rd spot at the moment. Still Tian Vien leads, and looking, we don't have split times here, but that is a very quick 100 meters in the 200 meters backstroke. Tian Vien in 1st place. Yu, I believe, will turn in 2nd, followed by Yosaputra, has caught up with Faith Khoo of Singapore, who is in 4th spot. Singapore looking for a medal. Last time out in 2015 was the first time in 7 games that they did not win a medal in this event. Nguyen Tian Vien looking for 3 in a row in the 200 meters backstroke. Well, the body is just shaking a little bit, and she's looking a little bit wobbly now as compared to what she did in the first 100 meters. Yeah,
I think she's feeling the pain a little bit here, but I mean, she's so far ahead, it's not going to be a contest here at all.
As we expected, Tian Vien will win this one, and win this one quite easily. And then she's got the 400 meters freestyle still to come. All hopes of Singapore go, of course, with Hannah Kwek and Faith Khoo. It is Yosaputra and Hannah Kwek slowly coming back now, trying to win a medal. No one's going to touch Nguyen Tian Vien. Is she going to touch the SEA Games record which she set in 2015? 2:14.12 is the record for her to smash. She has certainly smashed the field. Will the record go down with her as well? And the rest of the field, Yosaputra, who finished 2nd in the last 2 games to Vientiane, will finish 2nd yet again to the Vietnamese vessel, who wins with a time of 2:13.64. That is a brand new SEA Games record.
Great swim, very, very good swim from her. She was struggling towards the last 15 meters though. You could see her legs, her body position wasn't as high up in the water as it was in the first part of the race, but fantastic swim for Vientiane.
Well, how much of this will take out of her for the 400 meters freestyle? I know she's got some rest time because that's the penultimate event of the night, but still, really, I mean, you hardly hear her breathe the way she did after the end of the race. But as I said, it's not her fastest time. It is still the fastest time ever clocked in the SEA Games. Yet again, looking at this, I love this shot because her breakouts for the backstroke is just absolutely superb, just like it was in 2015, even at the 2014 SEA Games. She just somehow gets that right. The moment she leaves the wall, she's already in the lead by a body length.
Exactly, totally different class compared to the rest of the swimmers. And I think what you'll see her do right now is, I mean, you saw her trying to get out of the pool quite quickly, and she's going to go back to the other warm down pool, and you probably see her go 20, 30 laps, 40 laps maybe of warming down, right, to get the lactic acid out of her body, get ready for the race. At least, as you mentioned, she's got quite a few events in between now and the last event, second last event, so at least she's got some time to hopefully recover for the 400-meter freestyle later today.
Well, that's a very good observation, Gerald, because a lot of swimmers actually skip the mix zone and go straight into the warm-down pool, especially those who've got multiple events, and sometimes press goes out and it's not a very good one, but you have to excuse them because the warm-up pool is the first thing that they're looking out for. Tian Vien has won it, so we still don't know who has won bronze, so we're looking for official results to see whether Hannah Kwek has got herself in the reckoning for a medal. She was chasing it with Roxanne Yi. No, Hannah Kwek will finish in 5th spot, followed by Elizabeth Koo, Faith Koo, and Roxanne Yi repeats her bronze medal position. In fact, 1, 2, 3, it's the same order as they finished in 2015, with Nguyen Tian Vien, gold medalist yet again in the women's 200 meters backstroke in the SEA Games, and yet again breaking the Games record. The first woman to ever go sub 2:14 at the SEA Games, 2:13.64. It'll be interesting to find out what that winning margin was as well, and whether it beat her very own 5:45 that she clocked, the winning margin ahead of Yosaputra in winning in 2013. Well, the gold medals, when they come, usually have a rippling effect on the rest of the team, and we saw that as well with Singapore. So all it takes is one, then the tails are up and the rest of the team start moving in the right motion and right direction. And with Nguyen Tian Vien, it's 2 gold medals now for Vietnam in these SEA Games. So just like they were the second best nation in terms of gold medals won in 2015, getting off to a very good start, just 1 goal behind Singapore, who've got 3. I can tell you that Singapore need just 3 more gold medals to reach 310 in swimming, and that's an amazing figure, because we noted at the opening ceremony as well that swimming has contributed to 36% of Singapore's overall gold medals.
I think in that race, I was actually quite impressed with what Faith Koo did. I mean, she came in 6th, but don't forget that she's only 14 years old. I think she's got a lot of potential, and we could see over 2 years, right? That's a long time for her to really improve. I don't know if she'll get to where the Vietnamese is at by 2 years' time, but you know, coming in 6th with that time, I think it was 2:21. That's a very impressive time for her.
I don't think it's a personal best as well. 2:21 for Faith Koo. Let's have a look right now. She clocked 2:22.03 in the heats. 2:20.83, that's her personal best, which she swam at the Nationals. So that time, round about that time, and you have those years to clock it down, and we've seen with the likes of Zhou and Zheng Wen already, you know, times can go down very quickly. When you're swimming, Gerald, how quick were your times going down between the ages of 14 to 18?
Those were the best times of my swimming career, right? Every time you jump in the pool, you expect to do your best time, and then once you hit, you know, 22, 24, that's when it gets a little bit tougher. Every time you go in, you just hope for a little bit of improvement. Any improvement, you'll be happy with it. But yeah, I mean, at her age, 14 to 18, that's when, you know, every time she jumps in, she's going to expect to better her best time by at least 1 second or 2 seconds.
Well, we certainly hope so, as we look forward now to the men's 200 meters breaststroke. As we talked about, Singapore haven't won a gold medal in this event. In fact, they've only won 1 breaststroke gold medal, and that came in 1989 in this city, Kuala Lumpur. Ng Yue Meng winning that gold medal in the 100 meters breaststroke. The 2 Vietnamese actually looks very impressive, especially the one in lane number 4, and we have hardly heard anything about them, except for the fact that they're young superstars who might be the next generation of Vietnamese swimmers to take over Hoang Ki Phuoc. So they have something in the locker, isn't it, the Vietnamese, in terms of the production of these athletes?
I think he's only 16 years old, if I'm not wrong. But he looked like he took it out this morning. So I don't know, you know, how much faster he'll go this evening. I think the race is going to be between Lionel and Kitin.
Lionel Keaton, let's not forget as well, Nathaniel Gagarin of Indonesia. He too has clocked some very quick times this year, including a national record which he set in winning his national championships in Palembang, 2:15.36. Here come the swimmers, led by Dennis Tiwa of Indonesia. Last Indonesian gold medalist in this event was in 1989 in KL, and that was Sugriat Wermandi. They've got 2 swimmers here to end that streak, that winless streak. Singapore have got Lionel Koo to make it a first time ever in this event, and he is in lane number 6. Dennis Tiwa goes second at the Singapore National Age Group Champs 15 and over, 2:17.06, his best time this year. The defending champion is in lane number 2, Radamos Madjo of Thailand. He was also second in 2013 to Kitin Nutapong in this event. And then Nathaniel Yus Gagarin, who was 4th in this event in 2015. He owns the national record, 2:15.36 he clocked earlier this year. Pham Tan Bao, swimmer that we were talking about earlier on and how fast he went to the heats, 2:18.53. He and this man, Kitin Nutapong, the only ones to dip below 2:19 in the heats. His national record's also the SEA Games record, 2:12.99. Lionel Koo will be happy that he's swimming side by side with the hot favorite Kitin Nutapong. He won last year's ASEAN University Games. Daniel Lim of Malaysia, the last Malaysian to win this, Elvin Chia, back in 2001. He's in lane number 7. And then Nguyen Hu Kim Son, this is the swimmer to watch. As we were talking about yesterday, when he finished 3rd in the 400 meters freestyle, he still has the individual medley as well as the 1500 meters freestyle to go. That's Nutapong's record, the only one to dip below 2:13 in the SEA Games. Nathaniel Yus Gagarin is one that might chase Nutapong all the way, but we're looking at Lionel to provide something really special in this race. So it's Tiwa of Indonesia in 1, Matjo of Thailand in lane number 2, Gagarin of Indonesia in 3, Tan Bao of Vietnam in 4, Nutapong of Thailand in 5, Koo of Singapore in 6, Daniel Lim of Malaysia in 7, and Hu Kim Son of Vietnam in lane number 8. He won the silver medal the last time, Lionel, and he's gotten off to a very quick start already. Lionel, Nutapong side by side with him, and so too Nathaniel Gagarin trying to stay in the race in the first 50 meters of the 200 meters breaststroke. They will turn in those positions all together, almost all together at the same time. When Lionel won the silver at the 2015 SEA Games in Singapore, it was Singapore's first silver medal in the 200 meters breaststroke since 1973, when Alan Lella won silver as well. So he's still staying with Kitin Nutapong, just half a body length behind and in prime position to attack.
Kitin's probably the best stroke among this whole field. You can see how his distance per stroke, he's taking the least number of strokes per 50. So that's going to be extremely important in a 200 meter breaststroke race. But it's good to see that Lionel's actually keeping up with him. We'll see what happens in the second 100.
Well, the clock's already gone down in terms of the graphics on the TV screen, but I can tell you that Lionel Koo is second at the moment, just slightly behind Kitin Nutapong. He lost to a tie at the last SEA Games. That was Radamios Madjo. Radamios Madjo at the moment trying very hard to stay in this race, but Kitin has taken it out superbly strong. Long, loping stroke cycles. Lionel, has he gassed out a little bit now, or does he still have a little bit inside of his tank in order to attack the final 50 against Kitin Nutapong? The Thai, Nutapong, looking very, very strong. One more for Kitin Nutapong in this event, and he will win 4 and join Tolap Setsaton as the second all-time medals and gold medals won by a Thai swimmer, and also join Ratapong Srisanot, his hero, as the only ones to win this event 4 times. And surely now there's no catching up for Lionel Koo. A body length behind Kitin Nutapong. Lionel will be happy if he can repeat his silver performance. There is a charge coming up from lane number 2 as well, the defending champion Radamios Madjo. But Kitin Nutapong looks hot favourites here, and Kitin Nutapong will win the gold medal, which he vacated the last time out. Nutapong wins it for the 4th time, and we will confirm whether Lionel Koo has managed to be on the podium again by winning a bronze medal.
It didn't look like it. It looked like the Malaysian guy just raised his hand. So I think Malaysia might have come in 3rd and put Lionel to 4th place.
Well, did he go out a little bit too fast chasing after Nutapong? That's the big question here, Gerald. The time isn't the quickest for Kitin, but he doesn't care, because the Chiang Mai-born swimmer has come right back into it again after going through 2015 out of shape after recovering from an injury. But he is back in 2017, showing us that he is still the premier long-distance breaststroke swimmer in Southeast Asia. It's as if he hasn't even left. But you're talking about it, the way he gets maximum propulsion in his strokes is just absolutely amazing.
It is. I mean, if you compare his strokes from the first 2 laps and the second 2 laps, you can see that in the second 2 laps he really quickened up his stroke. A lot less distance per stroke, but that's usually what you do in a 200-meter 200-meter breaststroke race, right? You try and take it out as easy speed as much as possible in the first half, and the second half is when the third lap is when you try and build that race. Quicken your strokes a little bit, and then the fourth lap is, I mean, that's when you're in pain. It doesn't really matter. You just try and get your strokes in as quickly as you can.
Well, that question again, Gerald, do you think that Lionel went off a little bit too quickly in trying to chase after Nutapong? Everybody was trying to chase after Nutapong.
Lionel actually looked really good in the first 100 as well. He had very long, very long strokes. He looked really comfortable. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he's very disappointed in that. But we've still got the 100-meter breaststroke coming up that hopefully he can hopefully get the gold medal in.
Right, 0.07 seconds he missed out on a bronze medal to Daniel Lim of Malaysia, but Thailand 1 and 2, just as it was in 2013 when Nutapong pipped Radomir Smatjo, and Daniel Lim might be a new star in the breaststroke events for Malaysia, a country that's known through the years to produce some very, very good breaststroke swimmers, both male and female. So the men's breaststroke produces a slight disappointment for Singapore. Will the women's breaststroke sprint produce a golden one for the defending champion Roanne Ho from the Republic? She will go in with lots of hopes on her, but she will go in as hot favorites because she's been the only one in Southeast Asia to regularly go below 32 seconds alongside Fing Jing-eun of Malaysia. She's also got teammate Samantha Yeo beside her in lane number 3. This is an event that is so very well suited for Roanne, isn't it?
It is. I mean, she's probably a head taller than everybody else in this competition. So this sprint and dash, this 50-meter is going to suit her really well. And later on, when you look at her stroke, she's actually got a little bit of a different stroke to most of the other swimmers within this race. She doesn't bring her head up too high above the water. So you can see her really just moving her head barely above the water to take a breath, and then she comes back down. Whereas with the other swimmers, they tend to have a bigger pull, get their head up higher, and then they throw their hands forward. So her stroke is a little bit different from the other swimmers within this field.
Somehow she still manages, despite the fact that she doesn't get high enough, she still manages to get that wonderful whip in her strokes to propel her forward. And that's the reason why she's been winning the Southeast Asian Championships. I remember watching her at 2014 as well at the Sea Swim Champs, and she was just a totally different class when it comes to the 50 meters breaststroke. We're waiting for the women to arrive in just the third time that the 50 meters breaststroke is swum at the SEA Games. Roanne's national record is also the SEA Games record, 31.45 seconds. And as I said earlier on, the only one alongside Fing Jing-eun to go below 32 seconds in the field. And this year, she's the only one in Southeast Asia to go below 32 seconds. And in the heats, she was the only one to go below 32 seconds. So we can almost call her Roanne sub-32 Ho.
It's great to see Roanne back. I think she had a couple of incidents this year, a couple of injuries, one with the punctured lung, I believe, that she suffered from this year. And then she's had some shoulder injuries as well. And I think she wasn't sure whether she'll come back to swim. But I think she's really gotten overcome all the injuries. And I'm glad to see her back, and she looks like she's in top form from this morning's swim.
Also, talk on Samantha Louisa Yeo, who hasn't got an individual gold medal in the SEA Games despite her multitude of medals, and she will be hoping for an upset here against her teammate. She will be in lane number 3, and it's most likely going to be 4 and 5, but if there's going to be a surprise, look out for Anandia Ivato of Indonesia in lane number 2, who set a new national record at the Singapore National Championships just a couple of months ago. It's Roanne looking pensive for the moment, and it's around this part, Gerald, you've been in this part before. It's almost as if you're visualizing the race yourself, isn't it?
You are, but I mean, this is the time when you're at your most nervous. Before you walk out, you're just thinking, going out for your biggest race. You've trained so hard, so long for this. It's just all about a mindset, being mentally prepared. But once you walk out, the crowd is screaming. You're walking to your lane. You don't really hear anything. I mean, you're just, after a while, you're in a zone getting ready to get into your race, swim it the way you plan it to.
Well, during your days, did you come up with headphones as well? Because that seems to be the trend these days, isn't it?
No, that was a long time ago, so no headphones during my time.
Was the time of the Walkman, wasn't it? All right, so the ladies are all out for the third event before our first couple of victory ceremonies, and Roanne Ho hoping to win Singapore's first gold medal of day 2 of competition from swimming in the 50 meters breaststroke. Side by side with Samantha Yeo, and then Malaysians Fee and Kong side by side as well in 5 and 6.
Samantha actually had a very good start this morning. When we watched the race, the heats, she was actually ahead of Roanne for most of the race until the 25-meter mark, and that's when Roanne gained her momentum and she pulled ahead of Samantha. But I think if Samantha continues to have a very good start this evening, she could be in the running for an upset.
Well, she was 8th at the Asian Swimming Championships last year, and Andia Ivato, as I said, if there's a surprise in this event, it might come in that lane. Samantha Yeo, who was 4th in this event in 2015, 5th in 2011. First at the Asian Youth Games, she's in lane number 3. Roanne Ho, the defending champion and the only one in Southeast Asia to go below 32 seconds this year, she is in lane number 4. Fing Jin Eun has also gone below 32 seconds, not this year though, but she's in lane number 5. She was silver medalist in 2015. Erica Kong, who was 3rd in 2015, swims in lane number 6. Personal best this year, 32.47, swum at the Malaysian Open. Janjira Sri Saad, who is a Thai champion with a time of 32.94. She's also the Thai national record holder. She's in 7. And Vuti Phuong An of Vietnam swims in lane number 8. She swam 34.27 at the Asian Champs, and in the heats this morning has clocked a new personal best already just to make it to the final 8. Malaysian hopes go with Fing Jing Eun, the next batch of golden breaststroke swimmers to follow the likes of Xiao Yiting. But Singapore have got Roanne Ho, who has been queen in this event for the last 5 years in Southeast Asia. So Roanne goes once again. She was first already at the Singapore National Age Group Championships, first at the National Championships, and she wants to continue this trend, but it is a very good start at the moment from Janjira Sri Saad of Thailand. Roanne, though, coming right back into this, chased by Fing Jing Eun of Malaysia. Roanne Ho in lane number 4, just slightly ahead. Janjira Sri Saad, despite the very good start, is now lagging behind. Roanne Ho just slightly, half a body length ahead of Jing Eun. Can she keep this up now? Jing Eun is really giving chase, hoping that the Roche's crowd will come on, but Roanne Ho will win it for Singapore, just 0.25 seconds ahead of Fee Jing Eun, and it's Samantha Yeo who clinches bronze.
Again, same, very much a similar race to what we saw this morning, where Roanne, in the second half of the race, that's when Roanne really showed her class, where she managed to pull away from the team, from the rest of the field.
Samantha Yeo gets another bronze, but for a while, Janjira Sri Saad just got off to a flying start, didn't she? Lane number 7 from Thailand. And Jing Eun was keeping pace with Roanne for the first 25 meters. But as you said, Gerald, she showed her class and just manages to find that extra energy and extra power in her locker that Jing Eun didn't have. And there was no catching her in the final 10 meters. So Singapore win gold, and Roanne Ho defends her title. That's the start we're talking about from Janjira Sri Saad. We saw that this morning as well. She's so quick to react off the blocks. But from here on, in the middle of the pool, was when Roanne said, "This is my race. I take over from right here." Right till the end, the crown is kept. It looked closer probably from where we are from the broadcast center.
It wasn't the best of finishes for Roanne, though. You saw, because I mean, before she hit her last stroke, she was either going to glide it in or take a small stroke, and that's always unfortunate when you do a butterfly race or you do a breaststroke race, and that's probably the most annoying thing, because it's not something you can control. When you get close to the race, to the wall, you're thinking, should I take another one or should I just glide it in? And in this instance, you saw that Roanne took another smaller stroke to touch the wall.
Well, she did, and even though it's not the cleanest of finishes, probably not the cleanest of races that Roanne's ever swum in her life, it still is a gold medal for her at the SEA Games, and the second in a row in the 50 meters breaststroke. I've always wanted to ask of this, Gerald, do you actually count your strokes for things like the breaststroke, or maybe even the butterfly or the backstroke that you're swimming for 50 meters?
Not usually for 50 meters, I think, because 50 meters is basically you just going all out, right? It doesn't really matter strokes as much, but in like a 200-meter breaststroke, that's when it really matters. I think, you know, the swimmers know exactly how many strokes they're going to take from first, second, third, and fourth lap. So that's a little bit more critical. But I think in a 50-meter like this, it's really just going in there and just smashing it.
She did smash the SEA Games record, 31.29 seconds. That is a mighty quick time. That's a new national record as well.
Yeah. Won a gold after that. I mean, is this something that you expected and you anticipated?
Well, it's definitely something that I really wanted to happen, but I wasn't sure if it would because I was facing a lot of problems, even post-surgery, and like I kept getting roadblocks during my training, so at some points I didn't think it would be possible at all. So to be here is almost like a miracle. Yeah.
This is going to be your last game?
SEA Games maybe, but I might be swimming Asian Games next year. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I cut a lot of time for my 50. I don't swim a 50 very often, so definitely this is like one of a fun race, kind of like a fun race for me, and I really enjoyed swimming beside my teammate. And so best times are a bonus. So I'm really just happy to be here. Were you aiming to break your own record in this game, in this race?
Yeah, definitely I was, because I was also aiming for the Commonwealth Games qualifying of 31.47. So I knew if I just got a personal best, then I would be able to do it. So yeah, that was definitely a goal.
Rowan, maybe can you just talk us through, you know, the journey and from the time you got injured, I mean, you coming back and winning, I mean, how difficult was that?
I think this interview would be like 2 hours long if I went into it. I don't know how to say it, like, I think to summarize, it's just like, I really thought that it wouldn't be possible. I almost gave up, but I just had a really strong support team. Like my family, my coaches, my teammates, they always said like, I can definitely do it. I should just take it one day at a time, and they will always be like with me. And they always so sad. I can't probably it's so sad. I'm just so happy that I had all this support, and yeah, I'm really happy and really grateful. Losing fitness? Oh yeah, I definitely lost a lot of fitness. Like, even till now, I still can't keep up with most of my team, which is actually quite embarrassing. But then they kept saying like, it's okay, you just have one lap to do in Malaysia. So I was like, okay then. So yeah, I will definitely be trying to get my fitness back to what it's supposed to be. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting training journey.
Where would this rank? I mean, when you look at this gold medal, I mean, the circumstances, you know, everything that's gone through compared to everything else.
Where does this rank? I don't know. I guess it is one of the best things that has ever happened to me in my life, because it's really like, this time last year I wasn't even swimming yet in the water, so to be here 1 year later and like winning the gold for my country is just unbelievable.
Will you still be only swimming one event next year in the Asian Games?
Well, there is the 50. I'll probably also train for 100, but my focus is definitely the 50. Yeah.
Is the Asian record your target to meet?
Well, it'll be nice because that was done in the super suit, so if I do it, then it'll be super awesome. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Rowan Ho talking about a tough journey that you mentioned earlier on, Gerald, and she did say as well that's only one lap. Would that have affected her if she was maybe, you know, taking part in the 100 or maybe the 200 meters breaststroke?
I think so. I don't think Rowan swims the 200-meter breaststroke anyway, because given her size again, right? I think she's more built for the sprint event. So with the 50, you know, I think lack of training maybe that doesn't play as important a role. But we'll see what happens in the 100-meter breaststroke. I think the second half, I think that's where maybe her lack of training, given her injuries, may be a big part.
Well, the sun is setting here in Kuala Lumpur, and the Singapore flag will be rising in a while thanks to Rowan Ho, who's won our first gold medal this evening, and Kwa Cheng Wen is coming up next in the 200 meters butterfly to hopefully win the second in day 2 of competition. Victory ceremony for the first race of the evening, which was the 200 meters backstroke for women. I forgot to mention as well, with Sam Yo winning the bronze medal, that is her 7th individual bronze won at the SEA Games. And I think she did mention as well that it's a personal best time for her, so congratulations to her too. Definitely was a personal best time for Roanne, a new national record, a new SEA Games record. We've already had 3 races and 2 SEA Games record on this, the second day of swimming competition. I can tell you the record that probably feels most threatened this evening is the 4x100 meters freestyle relay. That record is scared, that 2015 record, because it might be just taken out and blown up into the KL air with the quartet that we have from Singapore. I can report right now that the quartet will include Joseph Schooling, Danny Yo, Darren Lim, and Kwa Zheng Wen. Gerald and I will allude to that and talk about it in a very short while on why that is the dream team and, for my money, the best ever relay side that we have. At least on paper it looks that way. First though, let's concentrate on Tian Vien winning her 13th gold medal in her short SEA Games career. In terms of gold medals won by a female athlete, this is what she has done in just her 4th SEA Games. It's her 13th gold to go along with 5 silvers and 2 bronzes. And in front of her, she only has Tao Li, Nurul Huda Abdullah, Junie Sung, Patricia Chan, and Jocelyn Yo. But remember, those ladies took almost 10 SEA Games, except for Patricia, of course, who retired early. The ladies took at least 6 to 7 SEA Games to receive their gold medals. She's only done it in her 4th SEA Games, with still more gold medals to come. This lady is a real phenom. No two ways about it. The double in the backstroke, 100 and 200 now. Roxanne Yu once again has to settle for bronze, just as she did in 2015.
Bronze medalist, Philippines, represented by Roxanne Ashley Yu, with a time of 2 minutes, 0.19.98 seconds.
Her personal best time this year, but not her personal best, which was clocked at the Youth Olympic Games a couple of years ago in Nanjing.
Silver medalist, Indonesia, represented by Yesi Valencia Yasaput Chapter with a time of 2 minutes, 0.18.19 seconds.
Yosaputra's third silver medal in a row. After winning in 2011, she must be so sick of the sight of Nguyen Thi Vien. All 3 times, she's had to play bridesmaid to the one and only queen.
And ladies and gentlemen, gold medalist and SEA Games champion with a new game record time of 2 minutes, 0.13.64 seconds, represented by Thi Vien Nguyen from Vietnam.
The first swimmer to go below 2:14 at the SEA Games, Nguyen Thi Vien also becomes only the second swimmer after Chonlathom Vorathomrong to win this event 3 times in a row. In fact, just the third after Chonlathon and Nanik Sowanji. And looking at her career, by the time the next SEA Games come, she will be the first to win this 4 in a row. Another goal for Nguyen Thi Vien at the SEA Games. And there's no doubt, of course, there is the undisputed at the SEA Games from Vietnam. The Viet vessel has conquered almost all and almost every event already at these games. 9 events that she's won gold medals in, and this event as well, she won bronze at the last Asian Games, and surely now that will be the next territory for her to stamp on.
I think so. Very impressive to get a bronze medal at the Asian Games for someone as young as she is. So I think she's got a good opportunity there. You know, she trains. You mentioned earlier she trains in the US. She trains back in Vietnam. She's got 2 coaches. So I think she's with the strong support team that she has. You know, we could still see her improve heaps and bounds over the coming years, I think.
And you're looking at the race earlier on. I mean, from a very objective coach's point of view, what do you think she needs to work on in order to catch up with the likes of the Japanese and the Chinese, who are probably the best in the world in terms of the backstroke events, who will be there at the Asian Games too?
I think it's probably the underwater. Even though she looked really good in underwater here compared to the rivals within this field, you know, when she compares it to the Japanese with the Chinese, then it's a total different ball game. You know, we didn't really see her use the whole 15 meters off each wall. And usually when you talk about world-class swimmers, they always use that 15 meters because, you know, you're a lot quicker kicking butterfly underwater than you are swimming on the surface. So a lot of world-class swimmers do that. I think that's something that she hasn't really done as much of. So I think for her to be competitive within that Asian Games level, which is like the world level, then she really needs to get better at her underwater kicks using that 15 meters allowable range.
She probably is in the right country to work on those underwater kicks, because the USA work on those underwater kicks and those turns of the wall more than any other country.
Correct. I mean, in the US, the college season, they always swim in 25-meter pools, like 25-yard pools, where it's almost more than 50% of it is from your turns and from your underwater. So that's where you see her really improve her underwater kicks.
Well, we see Yosaputra entertaining the Indonesian media, and Nguyen Thi Vien is entertaining the Vietnamese media as we get prepared for the second victory ceremony, which will see Thailand winning their first ever gold medal at these games. Once again, it's Keaton Nutapong. It's a wonderful story, isn't it? Back-to-back breaststroke events, and both featuring athletes who actually had to come back from injuries and winning. Keaton and Rowan Ho. So we'll have that in a while. But Faith Khoo In case you missed this race earlier on, finished in 6th, and Hannah Kwek repeated her 5th place performance at the last SEA Games. Just missing out on the medals, just behind Nurul Fajar Fitriati of Indonesia. And Nguyen Thi Vien still has the 400 meters freestyle to go, and it's a very interesting question that you brought up earlier on, Gerald, just talking about it while the Vietnamese national anthem was playing. It'd be very interesting to find out what happened yesterday at the 200 meters butterfly, because she kept pace with Jingwen. In fact, she was leading after 100 meters, and the moment Jingwen kicked off the wall at that 100 meter mark, that was when Thi Vien almost gave up on that race.
It looked like it, right? I mean, we thought that maybe she was sick, she didn't train enough, or she didn't have enough stamina to finish the 200 meter butterfly, because she went from 1st to, she finished 4th in the 200 meter butterfly yesterday. But obviously, with this race that she just finished in the 200 meter backstroke, she looked really good, really comfortable. She looks like she has the stamina for it. And even this morning in the heats of the 400 meter freestyle, she looked very comfortable, right? So it doesn't look like stamina has anything to do with it. We'll see what happens in the 400 meter freestyle, but I mean, I'm really curious to see what, if we get a chance to talk to the coaches, what really happened in that 200 fly yesterday.
Right, the 200 meters breaststroke victory ceremony to happen in a while, and if you missed that race as well, I can tell you that Lionel Koo just missed out by 0.07 seconds in terms of clinching a medal. No one was close to Keaton Nutapong. Lionel tried to live in the same bedroom as him for the first 50 meters, but Keaton just pulled further and further away from then on. It's a good bronze medal as well for Daniel Lim of Malaysia, an up-and-coming swimmer from a country that produces very good breaststroke swimmers. Daniel Lim was Malaysia's second medalist since Elvin Cha's last win in 2001. Yap Si Tuan won a bronze in 2013, and here in 2017, in front of his home fans, he will be taking a trip up onto the podium to receive his bronze medal. But it's 1-2 Thailand, just as it was in 2015.
I was actually quite impressed with Daniel's swim. You know, if you look at most of the other swimmers, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of them took the first 100 out relatively easy, with very long distance per stroke, very few strokes per lap. But if you look at Daniel, he actually, from the first get-go, from the first lap, he had very, very high turnover, and he actually maintained that high turnover throughout the race quite consistently. So I think it takes a lot of training, and he's probably a bit younger to be able to sustain that kind of stroke rate over a 200 meter distance.
Keaton Nutapong, he missed out on 2015, remember? And when he wasn't around, the mice and the mouse to his right came out to play. But now he's back, and the big cat is back in the middle of the victory ceremony to receive his gold medal.
The Prime Minister Department, President of Amateur Swimming Union of Malaysia.
He is a big, powerful lad who is also very strong in the individual medley. We talked about it this morning, about how these breaststroke swimmers are strong in the individual medleys, and Keaton Nutapong was the last person in Southeast Asia to beat Joseph Schooling in a race. And it'll take some time now for the next person to beat him in the 200 meters breaststroke if he keeps this form up. But first though, Daniel Lim might be on the menu for future SEA Games. Great swim by the Malaysian to clinch the bronze medal in the 200 breast.
Ladies and gentlemen, silver medalist, Thailand, represented by Radomyot Majur.
Radomyot Majur
2 minutes 14.96 seconds.
returning to his silver medal position in the 200 meters breaststroke. He won the Thai age group championships, but same thing as 2015. Nutapong wasn't around. And sometimes these swimmers just love to stamp their authority and show you who's boss. And Kita Nutapong is one of them. The way he celebrated after that really has brought back all the memories of what has happened over the last couple of years, where he's had to deal with injuries and all that stuff, missed out on the 2015 SEA Games. But a man who's been winning since 2009, 2011, 2013, and even won the Asian Youth Games in 2009 in this event, is back on top of the SEA Games, Southeast Asia, 200 meters breaststroke for men, all over again in 2017. Welcome back to the top of the world, Kita Nutapong.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Thailand.
Kita Nutapong back on the winners' podium. And Gerald and I was just talking about the fact that a lot of good things were expected out of this Chiang Mai-born lad who's got wonderful parents to support him all the way through. In 2009, when he won the Asian Youth Games, everybody thought that this was going to be the next big thing, not just in Southeast Asia, but in Asia as well. He's qualified for finals of the Asian Games a couple of times already, but both times he finished 7th in 2010 and 2014. Maybe next year, if he continues this form, it might be higher than that, and who knows, it might be on the podium, but then yet again, you're looking at an event that is probably owned and homed by the Japanese.
It is. I mean, I think within the Asian level, the Japanese are absolutely the best at the breaststroke, right? That breaststroke is such a technical event, such a technical stroke. The Japanese have it right down. I mean, they have it right down in terms of the way the stroke should be, the kick should be, the one pull, one kick underwater, the plunge. They've got it right down. So I think Japanese, we've seen them win up the Olympic gold medals so many times. So that's something that they've always had an edge in. So for Kitin to break into that scene, it might be a little bit difficult for him.
Yeah, and look, the Japanese aren't even top dogs in Asia at the moment in terms of the 200 meters breaststroke. It's a certain Dmitry Balandin of Kazakhstan. So if you look at the competition, them and then of course the Chinese, they'll always be in the reckoning. But between the Japanese and Dmitry Balandin, it's going to be pretty hard for Keaton, but I'm sure he'll hit the waters training all over again. But that stroke today, those stroke cycles look very, very good.
He looked so good in the first 100. I mean, it was very easy, very few strokes per lap. And that's his game plan, right? I mean, obviously the first 100, try to have what we call an easy speed, be very comfortable, and slowly build up on the third 50, build up your strokes, get your heart rate, stroke rate a little bit quicker as the third 50 progresses, and then on the last 50 you really go as quickly as you can. I mean, the stroke rate doesn't, I mean, then you do not want distance per stroke on the last 50.
Well, the last time he beat Joseph Schooling was, of course, in the 200 meters individual medley. We talked about it this morning, Gerald, and for those of you who missed out on it, as I was saying, these breaststroke swimmers, they make fantastic individual medley swimmers as well.
They do, because breaststroke, I mean, out of the four strokes within the individual medley, breaststroke takes the longest time, and that is where a good breaststroker can really overcome many seconds over someone that's not as good in the breaststroke, and that's why you always see a lot of good individual medley swimmers tend to have very, very good breaststrokes as well. It gives them a very easy competitive advantage over everybody else.
Well, we're halfway through day 2 of competition at the swimming venue here in the Bukit Jalil Aquatic Center, as the Thais enjoy their first gold medal in the swimming competition from the 2017 SEA Games. Singapore have already got a gold medal thanks to Rowan Ho in the 50 meters breaststroke. That victory ceremony will be upcoming, but first the 200 meters butterfly, which features Kwa Tung Wen, and then we have the women's 400 meters freestyle, where Nguyen Tian Vien will be red hot favorites once again to defend her crown. And this morning, in case you're wondering, I know a lot of people were a little worried when they saw that Kwa Tung Wen only qualified as, what, 4th or 5th fastest from the heats this morning. I can tell you, when he got out of the pool, we didn't even see his chest move. So, I mean, you know, he was so relaxed in the heats this morning.
I think it was only 9 swimmers in the heats this morning, right? So he knew that all he needed to do was just to beat one other competitor.
Turn up.
He'll make it into the finals, right? So, I mean, no one really cares what happens. So long as you make it into the finals, heats don't matter as much once you're in the finals. And, you know, we'll see him. I mean, we'll be very surprised, as we spoke about it, if he doesn't win this race, right? His best time is 3 to 4 seconds faster than his nearest competitors.
Absolutely right. I mean, just his best time this year, 1:56.76 at the World Champs, is almost 5 seconds ahead of Huang Ki-Fok, who's not swimming on the field, and then after that, Ong Jun-Yi of Singapore, who is in the field, and Thailand's Navapat Wongcharoen, the Thai national record holder. So that's how much the difference is between Kwa Tung Wen and the rest of the field. It's going to be one of those Wilson Sim, Joseph Schooling scenarios all over again, and Nguyen Tian Vien scenarios, where he's going to absolutely demolish it. At least that's what we're looking at. His personal best time, of course, remember, was clocked at the Olympic Games in the semi-finals, 1:56.01, when he actually missed the finals by 0.08 seconds. It was heartbreaking for him. But this is an event where, from a backstroke specialist, all of a sudden he showed a lot of interest in it, and he's just been knocking down his times religiously, relentlessly over the years, over the last couple of years especially.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about this morning as well. I think Zheng's stroke in the butterfly is very much suited towards the 200 meters, whereas when Joseph Schooling swims it, we can see that he's more into the 50 and the 100 meter butterfly, right? So, what we'll see is Zheng really use the 50 meters after every wall. You know, he's going to make use of that 15 meters. I mean, he's got great underwater kicks, and he'll use that to his advantage after every turn.
Well, after that build-up, we will be waiting for Kwa Tung Wen to show up for the 200 meters butterfly, because that's the next final. So Kwa Tung Wen just about ready to come out for the 200 meters butterfly, and leading the field will be his compatriot Ong Jun-Yi, a 16-year-old swimming in his very first SEA Games. Well, Singapore have won 3 in a row thanks to Joseph Schooling. Unfortunately, Schooling's not swimming, otherwise he'll become the first swimmer to win 4 in a row in this event. No country has ever won 4 in a row before, though. Singapore has an opportunity to do that and become the first country to win this 4 in a row. Zheng Wen trying to become the 5th Singaporean to win the 200 meters butterfly and follow in the footsteps of Alex Chan, Roy Chan, Koo Teng Chuan and Joseph Schooling. There's a huge gap there, I know. It's because before Joseph won, Singapore did not win in this event for 36 years. And then in 2011, Southeast Asia received a butterfly Schooling, which has ebbed right through to 2017 and probably the rest of this decade. So here they come. Ong Junyi in lane number 1, a 16-year-old who won the Singapore National Age Group Champs with a time of 2:01.21. Kwa Tsung-wen, the hot favorite, 1:56.76. Remember his best time this year. Swam at the World Champs where he missed the semi-finals by 0.05 seconds. Jesse Lacuna of the Philippines in lane number 3, the national champion. In lane number 4, Navafat Wongcharoen of Thailand, the national record holder, 2:00.84 is his national record. He was 4th in this event in 2015. Phang De Tia of Malaysia. The last time Singapore did not win this event, it was Malaysia that won it. It was a certain Daniel Bago back in 2009. Nguyen Ngoc Huynh of Vietnam in lane number 6. Vietnam haven't medaled in this since 2009. Kitia Thanakrit of Thailand in lane number 7. He was 3rd at the Asian Youth Games behind Kwa Tsung-wen, who was the winner. Huynh Mandat of Vietnam in lane number 8, completing the field. Joe Schooling's record is 1:55.73, and that is also the national record that Tsung-wen will be going after, trying to become only the 2nd Southeast Asian after Joe to dip below 1:56. That he almost did at the Olympic Games. So remember, Kwa Tsung-wen in lane number 2, Junyi in 1, Lacuna of Philippines in 3, Wongcharoen of Thailand, who went out very quickly in the heats this morning in 4, De Tia of Malaysia in 5, Ngoc Huynh of Vietnam in 6, Thanakkrit of Thailand in 7, and Mandat of Vietnam in lane number 8. Kwa Tsung-wen has gotten off to a flyer, literally, and this is where he usually does most of his work, off the wall. Lovely underwaters, breakout, absolutely superb for Kwa Tsung-wen, and just off the wall alone, he has taken a body length lead ahead of the rest of the field, ahead of his compatriot Ong Junyi already.
He has, I mean, we saw it off the start. Zhong used his 15 meters underwater, as I mentioned earlier. That's where his strength is. He's used it to his full advantage. And then interestingly now we see in lane 1 Jingyi, right, following Tsung-wen. So hopefully, Jingyi, this is his first SEA Games that he can keep it up. Obviously, that's his first 100. Hopefully, he can continue at this pace to get a medal.
Well, Tsung-wen knows he's going to destroy this field as he is now after the halfway stage of this race. He still has the 4x100 meters freestyle relay to come. Do you think he's going to hold anything back, or is he going to go after this record?
I think he's going to go after the record. I think this might be, if I'm not wrong, this might be the first time he's swimming the 200 meter butterfly at the SEA Games as his first event during a single day, right? In the past, when he swam 200 butterfly, he's always had another event before that. So, this is his first chance to really prove what he can do, and I think he's going for the record. I don't think he's going to hold back anything.
Well, Junyi has gassed out a little bit now in the last 50 meters, and because of that, he ceded 2nd spot to Vietnam's Nguyen. At the moment, though, no one's catching Kwa Tsung-wen, who's got the record in his sights, 1:55.73. That is what he is after. Does he have enough, though? Junyi is coming back strong. Well, he's got to hold on now because the rest are catching up. Kwa Tsung-wen does not break the record. He goes for the time of 1:57.95, and Junyi just misses out on the middle. But Kwa Tsung-wen, an easy winner, as we expected in this event, 1:57.95.
I really feel for Jingyi over in lane 1. He looked like he was on pace to come in 2nd. I think he had a very bad touch, and we saw the other 2 competitors, reach the wall before he did. He did everything within his power to be in that 2nd spot position, but it's such a pity that something as critical as touching the wall on the right aspect, he missed out on that.
And Kwa Tsung-wen has won the 200 meters butterfly, and that gold medal now moves him to 7th on the all-time list. It's his 7th gold medal. Actually, it moves him to 6th on the all-time list, side by side with a certain Roy Chan, who used to dominate this event. How apt. It's also Tsung-wen's 17th medal at the Games, and that means that he has overtaken David Lim to be 2nd on the all-time list in terms of medals won by a male at the SEA Games. Kwa Tsung-wen, in what has been a golden decade of male swimming for Singapore, typifying that and winning by a country mile, almost 15 meters ahead of his nearest rivals. Would you believe it? Before We had that schooling in 200 meters butterfly swimming in 2011. No swimmer had dipped below 2 minutes at the SEA Games, and now we've had two, and they're both Singaporeans.
I mean, I think they can break 2 minutes any day that you want them to, right? It's so easy. I mean, they've gotten so much quicker, Zheng and Zhou. They've done so well for themselves. And just having the two of them together competing against one another really has brought Singapore swimming to another level.
I don't know if he's got time to entertain the interviewers at the mixed zone, because he's got the victory ceremony plus, of course, the 4x100 meters freestyle relay still to come. Yet again, the only one to dip below 2 minutes is Kwa Zheng Wen. Fang De Tia swam superbly for Malaysia to finish in second spot, and just 0.1 second behind Navafat Wong Charon was Ong Jun Yi, who was in second spot for 100 meters of that race, and in that last 50 couldn't maintain that position. Goal for Singapore though. They couldn't repeat that goal silver performances of the last 3 SEA Games, but that is Singapore's second goal of the night, which means they are now just 1 gold medal short of the mark of 310 gold medals. The next gold medal won by Singapore will be 310 at the SEA Games, and will be the 200th gold medal since it was turned into what is now known as the Southeast Asian Games in 1977. We're talking about 40 years since 1977, winning 200 goals. That is an amazing, fabulous stat. I mean, they're way ahead of any other country in terms of winning gold medals in swimming, Singapore.
It is, you know, I think Singapore has always, I mean, swimming has always been one of Singapore's strongest sports, and I'm glad to see that, you know, these guys have really brought it up to another level. You know, again, Zheng and Zhou, they're not only swimming a couple of events this SEA Games, they've really let the next generation of swimmers come up, prove what they can do, and, you know, I think we've got a few more years where Singapore swimming is going to be at the top of this game.
And I always believe that, and I've said it time and time again, especially during the SEA Games, I always believe there are swimmers and there are racers. What Singapore has at the moment in our golden generation of male swimming is 2 boys who are not just swimmers, they are actually racers. They don't know when the race is lost. It is.
I mean, that's so important, right? I guess you can be the best trainer, best swimmer, but when it comes to racing, it doesn't matter if you know, mentally or physically you're not as strong. I think a lot of it's a mental game, but you know that Zhou and Zheng, when they come to a race, they're really ready to compete. That's something that you can't really train, not something that can be taught. You either have it or you don't, and you know that those two are extremely fierce competitors.
I remember attending a conference once as well, and I will not name that particular swimmer. I will not name the particular swimmer. They were actually talking about a certain swimmer at the Olympic Games, you know, and how his strokes were absolutely imperfect. And the big question that came was, what did he finish? Did he win? The answer was yes. I said, let's not care whether his strokes were imperfect. He won, because that's what a racer is all about. You know, it's not about looking beautiful in the pool or anything like that. It's about winning the race. And Zheng Wen and Zhou have that in them. Women's 400 meters freestyle. Speaking of racers, well, when it comes to long distance, of course, there is no one comparable to Nguyen Thi Vien, and she was the fastest qualifier from the heats this morning. Natalan Jongkrajang, a lady who has won the most gold medals in terms of female Thai swimmers, also qualified in lane number 3. But it was a very good swim from the very young Nicole Justine Marie Oliver of the Philippines to get side by side with Nguyen Thi Vien as the second fastest qualifier. Singapore have got 2 very young swimmers in the field too, and they are, of course, Rachel Singh and Gan Ching Hui, who is just 14 years of age, Ching Hui, but she already won the Singapore National Age Group Champs this year. So looking forward to it. And that women's team, which was a crack team, I remember in 2009, they just took home gold after gold with the likes of Lynette, Amanda, Tingwen, of course there was Tao Li there. And every time you need a regeneration, and 2017 might just see a new regeneration with the Singapore side introducing these young swimmers into the fray.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we've got a couple of swimmers that are 14, 15 and 16 years old, right? That's so impressive in terms of how the Singapore Swimming Association has really groomed this next generation of swimmers. So again, you know, I think Singapore is going to be really on top of this game, whether it's talking about the men swimmers or the women swimmers. They've got a very, very good pool that they can rely on.
So lane assignments right now, starting with Reina Saumi of Indonesia in lane number 1. They haven't won a gold medal, Indonesia, in this event since Elfi Nasution won in 1991. So they have two side by side in lanes 1 and 2 to make sure that that drought is ended. Risa Dewi, who cracked a new national record at the Singapore National Championships for 17.92, her personal best this year. She's in 2. Nathanan Jongkrajang, we were just talking about it. She was first in this event in 2011. She is in lane number 3. Nguyen Thi An Vien, 14 goals now. If she wins this, she was 26 at the Olympic Games and did not start at the World Championships because of the bug we were talking about. Nicole Justine Oliver, who actually cracked a new national record at the World Championships for 1923. She's in 5. Amiga Himatongkom of Thailand is in lane number 6. She was 3rd in this event in 2015. Then Rachel Singh of Singapore, who was 6th in this event in 2015. She's in lane number 7. And Gan Ching Hui, the 14-year-old that we were talking about, who finished first in the Singapore National Age Group Champs with a personal best of 4:19.61, the first time she's ever gone below the 4:20 mark. She is in lane number 8. Risa Dewi has clocked very fast times this year. Oliver will be one to watch for the future. Future is now, though, in terms of Nguyen Thi An Vien and her pursuit of goal number 3. Remember, she's in lane number 4. Nathanan Jongkrajang might want another medal because that'll put her up to 18 medals now and make her the most be-medaled Thai female swimmer if she wins a medal here. So Reina Saumi in lane number 1 for Indonesia. Lane number 2, Risa Dewi. Remember her national record, 4:17.92. She was also 3rd at the Islamic Solidarity Games earlier this year. Jongkrajang of Thailand in 3. Nguyen Thi An Vien of Vietnam in lane number 4 turns first. She won this by 9.13 seconds in Singapore. You heard me right, 9.13 seconds. That's how much she won it by. The biggest winning margin since 1985 when Nurul Huda Abdullah beat Afira Nasution by 11.02 seconds. And Singapore haven't won this since Jocelyn Yeo did in 1995. Only 4 Singapore winners: Jocelyn, Junie Sung, Elaine Sung and Pat Chan. And hopefully Rachel Sung and Gan Ching Hui will win it one day, maybe not this time out, but getting on the podium against what is a very, very experienced field might give a feel-good factor and probably give them some good memories to take in their pursuit of a medal in this event.
It is, but I mean, we're looking at Tien Van now. I mean, she's just taken this race out again very quickly. We could possibly see something, a repeat of what we saw in the 200-meter backstroke, right, where she's in a class of her own. Amazing. I mean, we're putting it at the 3rd 50 of an 8-lap race, and she's really miles ahead of everybody else.
Her fastest time this year, 4:11.52. The next fastest in Southeast Asia is 6.4 seconds behind Nguyen Thi An Vien. That could end up to be the winning margin. She is slightly ahead of Oliver of the Philippines. The Philippines haven't won a gold medal, remember, since 1993 in women's swimming from Akiko Thompson. They won a bronze today earlier on thanks to Roxanne Yu, and it'll be good enough for them if they can actually get into the podium as well. Now keeping pace with Oliver at the moment is Himatongkom of Thailand, and Nathanan Jongkrajang is actually in 5th spot, 3.16 seconds behind Nguyen Thi An Vien. Himatongkom will turn in 3rd spot. The 2 Singaporeans at the bottom of your screen, Rachel Singh and Gan Ching Hui, at the moment turning in 7th and 8th. But Tian Vien is just miles and miles away from the rest of the field, and she's just streaking away right now. As always, with her training in Indianapolis in the USA, trying to work the walls as much as possible, get that streamline and propulsion going. And in the 400 meters freestyle, it's something that she says that she is very interested in for the rest of her career, along with the medley races. Now, just at 50 alone, she almost beat the field by a full second in just that 50 alone.
Look at her. I mean, she's just in a different class of her own. The 3rd, again, similar to the 200 meter, where the 3rd lap's the most important. In the 400 meter as well, where you see a lot of competitors make a move, it's in the 3rd 100, right? That's typically where a lot of swimmers either back off because they want to save the energy for the last 100, or they would make a move during the 3rd 100. And we saw that Tian Van, even though she's in the lead, she actually extended it by quite a bit during that third lap.
That's another lap that's extended by a full second. She's just extending laps by a full second at the moment ahead of the rest of the field. My goodness, if she wins it, the next competitor might be 25 meters behind her, half the length of the pool. I won't be surprised by that, because that is the margin at the moment. Nguyen Tian Vien is totally way ahead. She's living in a totally different time zone now as compared to the rest of the field. Hima Tongon turns in second spots, and Natanan Junkrajang is trying to stay on the map of relevancy in terms of catching Nguyen Tian Vien, but surely she's too far behind against this Viet vessel as she continues to stream along effortlessly. At least she makes it look effortless from where we are. Tian Vien will be winning, but I don't think it'll be good enough to crack her SEA Games record. She has won by another huge margin. The chasm between Vientiane and the rest of Southeast Asia, there for all to see, just 4.58 seconds ahead of second place. And I say just 4.58 seconds because in terms of Nguyen Vientiane's victories in the SEA Games, 4.58 seconds is probably just nipping it. That's a close race for Nguyen Tian Vien, 4.58.
I think the girl in lane 5, you spoke about her earlier, Nicole. I think she's very young, and we saw she made a very big mistake. I think she took it out too quickly. She tried to follow Tian Van over the first 100, first 150. Actually, the first 100, that's when she tried to follow it, and you saw that she really suffered for the second half of the race, right? I mean, here, we're watching the replay. This is the second lap. She's the one on the right of Tian Van, and she really tried to follow Tian Van. And I think, that's probably not what her coach wanted her to do, and she really hit the wall barely halfway into the race.
She certainly did. No one can follow Nguyen Tian Vien. So sometimes where you're in a 400 meters race with her, or even in the longer distances like 200 meters butterfly or 200 meters backstroke, I think it's best to stay as far away from Nguyen Tian Vien so that you don't have that ghost trail leaving the rest. It's almost like a carcass behind her, fighting for that silver medal, and the silver medal and bronze was won by Thailand. Hima Tongkom, Amiga Hima Tongkom, and Nathanan Junkrajang, who picks up a bronze medal, just her second bronze medal at the SEA Games, and that makes 18 medals, which means she is the most bemedaled female Thai swimmer of all time. Nguyen Tian Vien, though, the only Vietnamese winner in SEA Games swimming in terms of their females, wins yet again. She's only won it 14 times over, and this race is another one that she's won 2 in a row. So one more race to come, and that is the one that we've been anticipating all night long, the 4x100 meters freestyle relay. We will be discussing that and Singapore's awesome foursome. The sights and sounds of Bukit Jalil Aquatic Center, and Roanne Ho gave us a beautiful sight with a gold medal in the women's 50 meters breaststroke, just as she did in 2015. And after that, she spoke about it, she joked about it, that she was going to talk about what happened to her over the past couple of years. It'll take an hour. They didn't have enough time for her, but I'm sure she'll have a lot to tell and a huge story to tell. But what she went through over the past few years, I'm sure the emotions must be ringing out in her. She's only human, right? To actually remember what she went through over the last couple of years and then still come here and win the title again in SEA Games record time.
Of course. I mean, I think she didn't think that she would, if you ask her this question 6 months ago, just at the start of this year, whether she'd be swimming the SEA Games. I mean, I don't think she would have known, right? Given the injuries that she's had. I mean, I think the punctured lungs, that's something that was so major that it happened during one of the world competitions, and she had to be hospitalized for a few days. So obviously that was quite a scare. And I think after that she had something, an injury with her shoulder as well, that put her out of the pool for quite a while. So I think given those two major injuries that she's had, I mean, she's just very grateful to be here at the race, at the SEA Games, and just to win that gold medal is a topping on top of the cake.
Right, were you clued in as to what happened with the punctured lung and how it occurred and what happened after that?
No, I don't know what happened, but I remember it was either at an overseas competition or they were in a training camp. So it was quite a scare for the coaches, right? Suddenly having to put her in the hospital and finding out that she had a punctured lung, not being able to travel and having to stay at that overseas hospital for quite a while.
Well, that sounds pretty serious, but when she came down and back to serious business in terms of swimming, she has discovered yet again that no one has come close to her in terms of the 50 meters breaststroke in Southeast Asia. Fi Jing'en tried to live with her for 25 meters of that race and dipped below 33 seconds, to be fair to her, but still Roanne Ho was queen of the lot. Janjira Srisad actually had a very good start but didn't manage to maintain it after the 25-meter mark. And Janjira Srisad start wasn't surprised at it at all, because she is actually a 50 meters freestyle specialist, so she is famous for that kick off the board, reaction time very good and great underwater, so her start was pretty good. But Roanne, what makes her so strong in that final 25 meters of the race?
I think she's one of the few swimmers that actually builds the race as it goes on. A lot of swimmers you see tend to do it, they start out fast and they kind of die towards the end, right? But Roanne is one that really builds out her speed as the race goes on, and that's why you see that in the first 25 she was on par with most of the swimmers, and then in the second half was when she really managed to break away and win that gold medal.
Samantha Yeo, part of the medal standings too, as she wins her 7th individual bronze medal. So 3 medals for Singapore tonight, 2 of them being gold. Roanne and Kwa Tung Wen and Samantha, and a lot of near misses for bronze for the likes of Lionel Koo and Ong Junyi. Rima welcoming the athletes for the victory ceremony, of which we have waited a mighty long time for them to just clear the deck. The technical officials are going to take a little break, and then after that they'll have to bring them back again before the final race of the evening. We'll have 2 victory ceremonies, both with the Singapore national anthem. That's this and the 200 meters butterfly. So 2 individual wins for Singapore, 2 individual wins for Vietnam, 1 for Thailand, and a win in the 4x100 meters freestyle relay for Singapore would mean that we would repeat day 1's performance.
Like, did you really count, or are you just like...
I'm just like stepping around.
Yeah.
But I gave up, it's too much. It's apparently 500 in the hotel. No, I was like, no.
How many are there in your like room?
Well, that's the thing about the SEA Games, isn't it, Gerald? And you've gone through this yourself. You are competitors in the pool. You want to smash each other's faces when you get inside the pool. You don't like the sight of each other when you're in the swim caps and you've taken your tracksuits off. But when the tracksuits come back on and when you're in the call room, they're actually very, very good friends.
It is. I mean, it's amazing, right? I mean, I still spend a lot of time. I still talk to my competitors from Thailand, from Indonesia. So it's a great environment where, like you said, right, you want to kill the person next to you in a race, but after it's all done and dusted, you remain really good friends. And even after you retire from the sport, you're still very close to them. You know, you visit one another whenever each one's in the other one's country. So it's a great, you know, I think it's a great sport.
Yeah, that's right. And it helps as well that this event is organized every 2 years, so you get to, it's almost like it's catching up after every 2 years. So Rowan Ho. So Rowan Ho receiving gold yet again in the 50 meters breaststroke. Samantha Yeo with another bronze, individual bronze. She'll be looking, of course, for the 100 meters breaststroke, where she probably feels that she's better in. But for her, I believe as well, it's going to be a personal best time. So we wait for the announcement. The results weren't actually given out as Minister Tan Chuan Jin is brought on
Singapore
to give out the medals.
Represented by Samantha Louisa Jin Yeo with a time of
32.17 seconds means Samantha Yeo actually shaves 0.39 seconds off her personal best, which she set in winning the AYG back in 2013. Well, shaving that much time off in a 50 meters breaststroke must give her a lot of confidence.
It is, and she looks really happy. I think given, the way that her body type is, she mentioned that she's not much of a sprinter. So this event was something that was for fun. I think she's going to focus more on the longer events, which we'll see in the coming days. So that will be interesting given that she's already improved by almost 0.3 of a second in the 50 meter. It'll be interesting to see what she does in the longer events.
It's also a personal best and a new national record for Fi Jing-eun. So that's how fast these ladies were going in the 50 meters breaststroke. New personal best for Samantha Yeo, new national record for Fi Jing-eun, and unfortunately not a new national record for Samantha Yeo, only because the winner happens to be her countryman Rowan Ho with a new SEA Games record and a new national record. And back again, the feeling, this is her version of cloud number 9. With what she has gone through, it's not just Rowan, but also her friends and family. They must be feeling a lump in the throat right now, seeing her back, receiving that gold medal, and being the fastest female breaststroker in Southeast Asia all over again.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Singapore. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the 29th SEA Games medalist for women's 50 meters breaststroke.
Roanne, SEA Games champion, just as she was in 2015. New SEA Games record, just as it was in 2015. It's her only individual race. She's not slated for the relays either, so she's made it count in her one and only chance and shot in Kuala Lumpur. And this is how she did it. For the 50 meters breaststroke final, Janjira got off to a quick fire start from Thailand in lane number 7, but from the halfway mark, Roanne all the way.
Exactly. Again, right? We spoke about this earlier. You know, her first half wasn't much to shout about, but you know, the second half is that when she really got into her momentum and managed to really pull away from the field.
We were talking about her finish as well, that it wasn't full. It was rather choppy, and that extra stroke was needed.
That's always unfortunate. It's not something that you can really, you know, blame her for. It's a split decision that she needed to make at that point.
And that time for her was a very, very quick time for Roanne Ho as well. I'd like to so her time, I can tell you that her times going into this were actually the 8th fastest time in Asia, not just Southeast Asia, in Asia. So I'm interested to find out exactly what that time is. I know it's a new SEA Games record, but we weren't shown the graphics in order to look at it. 31.29, which actually makes her the 6th fastest in Asia this year. And she might be interested in the Asian Games next year, because if you look at the top 6 fastest, there are a couple of Japanese and Chinese there, but they're only allowed to send 2 swimmers each. So Roanne might actually be a surprise inclusion in the grand finals of the Asian Games next year. We might never know if she continues swimming with this sort of speed and form into 2018. So Roanne's won her goal. Jung Wen's going to receive his goal in a while, and the 4x100 meters freestyle relay also coming up. Congratulations to Roanne from the Bukit Jalil Aquatic Center. Let's go to track and field right now, because I hear Dipna Limprasad is about to race in her event, and I believe it's the 400 meters hurdles. But we will get that for you in a while when we're ready, as Rimao is ready to bring on the next batch of medalists and the medal ceremonies for the men's 200 meters butterfly. Remember, of course, the 4x100 meters freestyle still to come with Singapore red hot favorites. But first, let's cross over to the National Stadium and watch Dipna Limprasad in action.
So this is the start list for the women's 400 meter hurdles final. Osana Winato, Sairatul Izzati, Nguyen Thi Huyen of Vietnam is the defending champion. The woman to watch for, Dipna Limprasad of Singapore, goes in 6. Yutamas Kongkam will go in 7, 8 and 9. Faizal Mazlan of Malaysia and Go Chu Ling of Singapore. Getting off to a decent start, going in lane 3 is Osana Winato, the former gold medalist. And first at the hurdles, it's very comfortable for Nguyen Thi Huyen of Vietnam, and she's really eating up the the back end of this course. She ran the first bend absolutely superbly, and she's got an enormous lead over anyone else in the field. It's now Wasana Winato who's actually caught up best and is running second best overall. We'll have to see when they come out of the second bend, but it's undoubtedly Nguyen of Vietnam who is in the lead and set to claim another gold medal in this event. The defending champion is not going to be beaten, bar a horrendous accident, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. She's got energy, she's got stamina, and most importantly, she's got impressive speed over this back straight. Well, the Asian record is not going to be in danger, but perhaps the SEA Games record that she set is going to be in danger here. It is going to be Nguyen of Vietnam who demolishes the field, demolishes nearly her own record. The battle for silver here is a good one. It's only just Dipna Limprasad of Singapore manages to claim the silver medal very impressively on the line in a three-way battle for the two remaining medals. But what a dominant, absolutely dominant display from Nguyen Thi Huyen of Vietnam. It was Prasad with a very impressive finish because Winato was in the silver medal position until the final few strides.
Wow, that was a real run in itself. Another Vietnamese named Nguyen, and winning by the same amount of margin as the Vietnamese named Nguyen in swimming too. But congratulations to Dipna Limprasad. What a comeback from her in the final 10 meters of that race to clinch the silver medal. I believe that's her best performance ever at the SEA Games. Silver in the 400 meters hurdles. Well done indeed, Dipna Limprasad, one of the nicest people you'll get to know. And so very happy for her. So Kwa Tsung Wan makes it 309 gold medals for Singapore with victory in this, and the 199th since this event was turned into the Southeast Asian Games from the Siap Games. And this was another one of those swims that were dominated. He homed his rivals from the moment he took off the blocks. It's one of those races where you say the race was won on the plunge, although there was still about 175 to go after that. But Tsung Wan and his underwaters and breakouts took it out and defeated the field at the 25-meter mark. Very good swim by the Malaysian. He's got very big shoes to fill, and he's still short of the national record held by Daniel Bago. But as I said, that name Daniel Bago means he does have very big shoes to fill, and maybe over the next couple of years, Bago's record will be in his sights of 158.99. Well, will Schooling's record be in his sight? 155.73, remember, clocked in 2015. Kwa Tsung Wan has come so close over the last 2 years, from the Olympic Games to the World Championships, in going sub 156. He hasn't done it here at the SEA Games, but still, it's good enough. And sometimes he wasn't pushed enough as well to go below 156. We have to remember it. But it's good enough to win the gold medal in the 200 meters butterfly after winning silver in the last 3 editions. Kwa Tsung Wan, gold medalist yet again at the SEA Games. So ZW with another W at the SEA Games, and he'll be going for another one as he rushes off to join his teammates for the 4x100 meters freestyle relay. Looking at his swims over the last couple of years, Gerald, do you think, although he started out as a backstroker, but do you think this might be the event that he'd probably end up keeping his eye on and being his pet event for the rest of his career?
I think so. I think he's still going to swim the backstroke events, but this is going to be his focus for the next few years. I mean, this is the event that he mentioned he wants to come in top 8 in the world, and he just barely missed that, as you mentioned, in the Olympics and at the recent World Championships. But you know, I think he's got a natural talent for the butterfly events, especially the 200-meter butterfly. So I would say this is going to be his main event going forward.
I've spoken to a lot of people in swimming cycles, and they say that one of Zhengwen's biggest strengths is that this boy just doesn't get tired. He is tireless, he is a real worker, indefatigable as we call him, a real tank inside of him, born with 4 lungs, and because of that he's able to swim the amount of events he has over the years at the SEA Games, winning the amount of medals he has through the years, and surely he's not going to be too tired for the 4x100 meters freestyle relay that's happening in a while. So there it is, Kwa Tung-wen, gold medalist, finally in the 200 meters butterfly. And what do you think is his biggest strength in this race, Gerald, 200 meters butterfly?
I think it's probably his strokes. I mean, for some reason, he's got a very unique butterfly stroke that suits the 200-meter butterfly. You know, like how people say Joseph's butterfly stroke is actually a little bit non-conventional, but it suits him for the 100, the 50, and the 100. Likewise for Zhengwen, it's his stroke, how he's so efficient, and he doesn't really take that many strokes per lap. I mean, they've done some comparison from the Sports Institute site where, you know, they compare the number of strokes that he takes versus Michael Phelps versus Chet Lecrow, some of the top butterflyers in the world, and Zhengwen is actually a lot more efficient than Michael Phelps is in a 200-meter butterfly, which is extremely impressive as we know it, right? So you know, that's something that I think that's why I think he's going to really focus on the 200-meter butterfly going forward.
And team spirit's absolutely high for the Team Singapore squad, and Kwa Tung-wen very much a part of that spirit, which has been bedded through courtesy of their new coach Stefan Wittmer and Gary Tan as well, who's been there for the last 4 SEA Games already.
I more expected bronze medal, but it's a silver, so it's a kind of surprise for me.
Okay. So tadi macam mana competition tadi you tengok from the gold medalist punya fight tadi? Do you think that actually you boleh beat dia tapi at last you dapat silver atau macam mana?
As I said just now, I expect just bronze medal.
Congratulations to Malaysian swimmer for clinching the silver medal, but let's have a look at Kwa Tung-wen once again as Fang De-Tia is conducting his interview to the Malaysian press. And as I said, at the 25-meter mark, there was only going to be one winner here.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it, right? Zheng's got amazing underwater kicks, very much like Joe does, and he's really used it. We saw, and we're taking a look at it right now. Look how smooth that underwater kick is.
He's so efficient, as you said, and that's the unconventional stroke that you're talking about. I even spoke to someone who was a butterfly specialist once before, and he's saying that, yeah, usually they always advise, you know, keep your chin down before you go into the water and all that kind of stuff, but this boy doesn't somehow, you know, it's almost as if he's breathing to his right. Very Susanna Jakobos, I remember from Hungary, she does the same things as well, but it suits this race, the 200 meters butterfly.
Yeah, and it works for him, right? Obviously his kick is also very special to enable him to do this kind of stroke.
Yep, it's absolutely right. Kwa Tung-wen goes and prepares for the 4x100 meters freestyle relay, and now is the time to talk about that crack for Singapore. I don't know about you, Gerald, but I firmly believe this is the best 400 meters freestyle men's relay squad we've ever had. And this is no disrespect to the likes of yourself, Gary, Peng Xiong through the years, but the team of Joseph Schooling, Danny Yeo, Darren Lim, and Kwa Tung-wen, how can you better that? Now that you really need to tag the word dream team to that team.
It is not just the best that we've had, but the best that Southeast Asia has had. I mean, this team, if you think about it, how much they've improved. Am Peng Xiao's national record, which stood for decades, was a 51 flat. I think he did it in the 1984 Asian Games or Olympics. That stood for decades, and now we have all 4 members that not only break 51 seconds, they break 50 seconds, and you have Joe at like 48.3, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, and it's not just the 4 of them. I mean, I know that Gary has mentioned that, you know, his 5th, 6th fastest swimmer, they're all under 51 as well, right? So, you know, you have a very good, you know, your existing 4 members are extremely fast, but you still have another 2, 3 younger kids that are waiting to join the team, right? So there's a lot of competition going in. We could see these guys really final in the Olympics. I think that's a very, very high possibility.
Absolutely right. And, you know, we're talking about it as well, about that 50-second barrier, because it took until 2013 before a certain Triadi Fauzi broke that mark in 49.99 seconds in the 100 meters freestyle. And you look at Joe now, his best time, 48.27 seconds. Danny, perhaps his best time, 50.08 seconds, just 0.08 seconds off that 50 mark. But we've got Darren Lim, 49.50 seconds, and Kwa Zheng Wen, 49.73 seconds. 3 of the 4 swimmers that are on display in the 4x100 meters freestyle in a while from Singapore are sub 50 second swimmers. Can you believe it? Oh, we'll have that race in a while, but first let's cross over for some more athletics action from the National Stadium.
Now for the men's 400 meter final. Eric Cray running the first of his 2 finals here in this evening session. Men's 400 meter final, where he is favourite to claim the gold. It's a battle, all right, between a number of competitors for the other medals. Kwak has medalled previously. Andrian as well of Indonesia at the last SEA Games. Watch out for Eric Cray going in lane 6. Getting off to a fairly good start here. He's really putting the pedal down early on, and he's got a 100 meter final still to come, so you wonder just how comfortably he is going to be taking it. He'll want to wrap up the gold medal, certainly, because he's going for his 3rd consecutive gold medal. At the moment, though, just off his shoulder, it looks like that Kwak is sitting in that silver medal position, and he's one of the few men who might be able to challenge him should he clip a hurdle. But if he is to run a free and comfortable race, nobody in this field is going to catch Eric Cray, and he's proving it with this performance as well. Dominant once again, set his personal best, 48.98, national record in Madrid last year. A man who is so comfortable. Oh, there's a big crash at the hurdles. Kwak is catching fast. Cray nearly caught on the line, finishes in 50, and the bronze medal goes to Andrian running in the outside lane. Cray takes it only just from Kwak Kong of Vietnam. Andrian finishes in the bronze medal position to claim yet another medal. So Medina, after clipping the hurdle, registers a DNF, did not finish. Eric Cray from Kwak Kong Lik by 2/100ths of a second. Andrian claims the bronze medal for Indonesia.
Wow, the men's and women's 400 meters hurdles races couldn't have been more contrasting, could it? Close race, that one. And remember, the 100 meters finals still to come, and 4x100 in swimming. all set and ready to go for the final race of the night, the men's 4x100 meters freestyle relay. Joseph Schooling will lead it off for Singapore, and it'll end with Kwa Tseng Wen, Singapore's two big male superstars. Bookending swims by the double Ds, Darren and Danny, right in between. I can tell you this right now, we were talking about it, it's also a matter of timing, isn't it, Gerald? It's a matter of timing as well. It's hardly any time that you actually get four swimmers who probably are as close to the peak of their careers like these four are for Singapore.
Exactly. The four of them are, their early 20s. They are all peaking right now. They have a couple more years ahead of them, and hopefully they stay intact, right? For the 2020 Olympics. And if they do, Gary has spoken about it, a lot of coaches have talked about it. I think they have a very, very good opportunity to final, hopefully, at the 2020 Olympics. If you think about it, that's never happened before.
Yep, for Southeast Asia. And you look back at Kuala Lumpur, because before that, Singapore had a little bit of a drought. And then in 2001 in Kuala Lumpur, I remember interviewing the likes of Gary and Mark, who came in because they were so happy to end that drought. They were victorious. Since 2001, since the turn of the century, Singapore have not lost in this race. That is a monopoly, if you'd like. That is a dynasty. But at the same time, there was a time where we thought, are we ever going to win this again? Now, the question is, are we going to be getting into the Olympics, as Gerald says? So how times have changed. And that is only credit, of course, to the likes of Gary and gang for building up this team, led by Joseph Schooling, out for the 4x100 meters freestyle relay. It's them against Seiko. Not the rest, because it's the clock that they're after. 3:19.59 is the national record that was set by Schooling, Danny, Tseng Wen and Clement. Only one of the three are not here, Clement, but his place is taken by Darren Lim, who this year has gone below 50 seconds, 49.50, his best this year. Vietnam swim in lane number 2, represented by Tran Tan Teo, Nguyen Huy Huang, Man Dui Hyun and Neo Din Chuep. Those are the four swimmers, all very, very young. Wang Ki Phuoc seems is not feeling too well, and because of that he scrapped from his events today to try maybe perhaps to get back in time for tomorrow's first event, which is the 100 meters butterfly. Cambodia are in lane number 3, and here are the hot favorites. Joseph Schooling, a sub 49-second swimmer. Danny Yeo, just 0.08 seconds off of being a sub 50 seconds. Darren Lim and Kwa Tseng Wen, sub 50 seconds swimmers. Malaysia get the cheers of the crowd and will be hoping for a medal in this race. Lim Ching Huang swims in lane 3 or leg 3, and Wilson Sim will take it home. He's their fastest 100-meter swimmer with a time of 50.99 seconds. Indonesia's Triadi Fauzi starts first, the only sub-50-second swimmer in this squad. He did it in 2013. They've also got Lokman Anggawijaja and Suratawa in their squad of 4. Then Thailand to take it home. Siwat Matakompon starts in the lane in leg 1. Newling in leg 2, and in leg 3 the record holder Pananuratana and Kitifat Pipiman will be their final leg swimmer. Since 1969 only Indonesia and Singapore have won this event. Thailand won it once, that was in 1961. Singapore have won it 17 of the 26 times it was featured in the SEA Games. And Singapore's golden boy starts off the 2017, the class of 2017 relay squad. Now I can tell you that Joseph Schooling, after all that he's achieved already in his career, is very, very much up for this. How about those underwaters from Joe Schooling? Straight off the surface, the breakout absolutely perfect, and he's already half a body length ahead of the rest of the field, and we haven't even gone to the first stage or first half of this race yet for the 4x100 meters for Joe Schooling.
Exactly, but I'm very surprised to see the Indonesian swimmer keeping up with Joseph Schooling on that first 50.
Well, those butterfly kicks, those dolphin kicks always help when you're a butterfly swimmer. And off the wall, nobody beats Joe. That's world class. And that's American style of freestyle swimming, isn't it? Long loping strokes, big upper body movement, big chest movements in that freestyle. Joseph Schooling, I'd love to see his time for the 100 meters freestyle as he hands it off. 49.25, not his best, but it's already good enough for a 1.23 second lead over Indonesia.
Absolutely, and I think the coaches here are going to emphasize safe starts, because I mean this is basically Singapore versus the clock, right? And they don't want any disqualification. So I think what you'll see as well is on a lot of the turnovers, the swimmers are going to be very, very cautious in terms of their starts.
Danny Yeo has swum a personal best time this year at the Singapore National Age Group Championships of 50.08 seconds. Usually a 200 meters, 400 meters freestyle swimmer. He's knocked it down to a 100 meters freestyle, and it's been clocking crazy times over the past few years. Danny Yeo, the second leg swimmer, hands it over to Darren Lim, a swimmer that many touted just a couple of years ago as the next Ang Peng Siong. It was in 2013 that they thought that it was him who's going to break the 50 meters freestyle record. In the end, it was Joe, but Darren has continued his growth as a swimmer, and this year has clocked 49.50 seconds already in finishing first in the national age groups and first in the national championships as well. And he is in the pool as the third leg swimmer for Singapore.
He is. I mean, look at those kicks. I mean, they're doing really, really well. We'll look at this underwater kick again, and all of them are using the butterfly kicks. Everybody has been doing that, given the butterfly kicks are a lot quicker than swimming above on the surface.
2.36 seconds ahead of the nearest rivals. The handoff is for Kwa Tseng Wan. Does he have the stamina after winning in the 200 meters butterfly earlier on? Remember his personal best time, 49.73 seconds. We're looking at the clock as we watch the swimmers take their plunge for the final leg. 3:19.59, remember, is the SEA Games record, and the lead has been built up to 3.62 seconds. Tseng Wan goes for the final leg. Being another sub-50-second swimmer, this will lay a marker down, and the rest of Asia might be watching Singapore as well, because surely this quartet, this awesome foursome, is going to make it into the Asian Games final next year if they keep their form into 2018.
Definitely going to make the Asian Games finals. I think it's going to be a matter of whether they get a medal or not.
Absolutely right. Tseng Wan takes it home. Remember, look at the clock. I think the record is going to be smashed. 3:19.59 is the record, and this might be smashed to smithereens. It'll go up in smoke. A chance for the record for Tseng Wan. He's tiring out a little bit. Well, not totally smashed, but still a new SEA Games record, as we expected from that quartet of Joe Schooling, Danny Yeo, Darren Lim, and Kwa Tseng Wan.
Fantastic swims by the boys. You look at them breaking the SEA Games record by a couple of seconds, and this is with Joe not doing his best time. Can you imagine if Joe did his best time?
Absolutely right. Joe didn't go below 49 seconds, and look at the clock there. Look at what he's clocked. Joseph Schooling let things off, and as I said, the double Ds did their job before they handed it over for Tseng Wan for the win, and that's his second gold medal, and I can tell you it's a perfect way as well. This quartet, this golden generation of male swimmers led by Schooling for Singapore, have won their 310th gold medal in swimming. Their 200th since it's been turned into the SEA Games in 1977, but 310 gold medals, and it comes from a set of guys who might win the next 50. Kwa Tseng Wan took it home, but it was Joe Schooling, and what a way to start off. It almost sends shivers down the spines of the rest of the team, isn't it? You look across the board, you look at the starting boards, and the next thing you see is that the person who's going to jump off is not just only the best in Southeast Asia, but someone who qualified for the Olympic Games semi-finals in the 100 meters freestyle.
It is. I mean, you have two Olympic semi-finalists or finalists in your team, right? Everyone is pumped to swim it. This is somewhat the highlight relay event for the 100 meters freestyle relay. So I mean, this is a race that everybody looks at. You know, it really shows you who the fastest team in Southeast Asia is. I mean, this is a fabulous team, and I hope they really stay in place until the 2020 Olympics. You know, they can really surprise a lot of people by making the finals in that race.
Darren Lim looks very good as well, I have to say. His swim, he was absolutely superb, and he looks very good because he's going to be taking part in the 150 meters freestyle. So he looks pretty good for this meet too. at the SEA Games in 2017.
Darren's a pure sprinter. I mean, like you mentioned earlier, he was the one who was closest to Peng Siong's 50-meter record before Joseph Schooling broke it. So I think he had a couple of years where he wasn't swimming as well, but now he's really rekindled his love for swimming. He's come back a lot better than he was when he first left.
Well, with all the excitement of the SEA Games record, we have to give credit as well to Malaysia, because a superb final lap swim by Wilson Sim has clinched them the silver medal, and Indonesia will have to settle for the bronze this time out. Well, the Malaysians, of course, have been rather famined in terms of gold medals, even medal victories in the 4x100 meters freestyle relay for a one now. And that silver medal for the Malaysians is a repeat of what they did in 2015 and 2013 with a new bunch of swimmers too. So, new SEA Games record by the dream team of Singapore freestyle relay. Joseph Schooling, Danny Yeo, Darren Lim and Kwa Tseng Wen. Brand new record, gold medal kept for the 8th Games in a row.
Ladies and gentlemen,
So the final victory ceremonies of day number 2 in swimming, and Nguyen Thi Vien is about to pick up her 2nd gold medal of the day and 3rd of the competition and 13th of her SEA Games career, winning the 400 meters freestyle by a huge margin over the rest of the field. Well, we did give the sense of perspective over what she's won vis-a-vis what her country has won in terms of gold medals, but here's another one for you, because that is her 21st medal. This gold medal is her 21st medal of her career, which started in 2011, and Nathanan Jongkrajang, who has won bronze, is 1 medal short of her, despite the fact that she started in 2007. So, just a phenomenal achievement from a lady who has been winning for fun at this level. But as Gerald was saying earlier on, and I totally agree with, in order to lay down any sort of a marker, she's got to start winning on the Asian level as well. Bronze medalist at the Asian Games, the first ever Vietnamese swimmer to win a bronze medal, male or female. If she carries on from that and goes up to maybe a silver or gold, she's already a Youth Olympic Games champion, remember? And then she starts winning on the world level too. That's when everybody will sit up and take her a lot more seriously. Look at Danny, Darren, Joe and Tseng Wen. We'll go get changed and get ready for their very own gold medals. Well, you mentioned it, Gerald, with Joe not swimming his best time and still that time they recorded, it means that the 3 that went after him must have gone very quick.
Exactly. I mean, we can't see the splits as yet, but you know, for them to break the national record, SEA Games record by a couple of seconds, with Joe, you know, maybe being 1 second off, I think shows that the other team members maybe picked up the slack a little bit. So I think when Joe is back in shape, right, this team really can go places.
Oh, absolutely. This team can go places. That we're very sure of. And the men's 4x200 meters freestyle relay side, with Joe involved and Zhengwen involved, are not too bad either. That we'll see them in a couple of nights. Tomorrow it's the women's 4x200 meters freestyle relay. And let's not forget as well, we do have the men's 4x100 meters medley relay. I mean, that one's another one which is so mouth-watering. If you think about it, Zhengwen to lead off in the backstroke, and then we probably have Lionel or Samuel in the breaststroke, but ending it, probably Joe in the butterfly, and then Darren in the freestyle. That is mouth-watering, as mouth-watering as you get.
It is. I think that team, again, is going to win that race, right? It's going to be them against the clock again. All four of them are pretty much champions, one of the fastest, if not the fastest, in their own respective strokes. So should not see much competition. And again, right, I think the most important thing that coaches are going to emphasize within those relay races is safe starts, right? You do not want to be disqualified for a race that you are definitely going to win, and it's just you against the clock.
Right. And you were pretty sure as well that that was what was emphasized for that first leg from Job, that safe start as well, that handover to Darren for the second leg.
Definitely, everyone, right? That's where the mistake could happen, where they get a little bit excited, they want to have a good start. So usually with competitions like this, where the gold medal is pretty much in the bag, that's what the coaches want. They do not want to risk losing that gold medal, right? Timing is less relevant here because they're not trying to qualify for the Olympics or the Asian Games or anything like that. But where timing is less relevant, obviously safe starts is what you hear the coaches talk about all the time.
Well, there wasn't any form of disqualification at all, as they won the gold medal easily as Tian Vien did in the 400 meters freestyle. So we're still waiting for the medalists to arrive. Nguyen Tian Vien, accompanied by the two Thais who will flank her, Amiga and Natanan. And then the final victory ceremony of the night. Remember, the relay boys winning our 310th SEA Games gold medal in swimming.
Please welcome to the podium the medalists.
I believe they're starting off with the 4x100 meters freestyle, are they? No, it's the 400 meters freestyle for women, led by Nathanan Jungkrajang and once again Nguyen Tian Vien. Three wins in a row in this race for Nguyen Tian Vien. And she did it against the 2011 champion, the last person outside of Tian Vien to win here, which was Nathanan Jungkrajang.
The mascot and sibling will be presented by Dr. Varin Tansupasiri, SIGA Council Member of Thailand. Ladies and gentlemen, bronze medalist, Thailand, represented by Nathanan Jungkrajang with a time of 4 minutes 16.87 seconds.
Nathanan Jungkrajang with her 18th medal, 18th individual medal at the SEA Games. So not only is she the female swimmer with the most gold medals for Thailand, she's also the female swimmer with the most medals. Now with that 18, in a career that started in 2007 in Korat, where she was introduced to all of Southeast Asia in her swim in the 100 meters freestyle. It might be another royal battle between her and Kwa Ting Wen, and that happens tomorrow in the 100 meters freestyle. Amiga Himatongkom of Thailand, improving from her third position in this race in 2015 to clinch the silver medal. but no one came close to Nguyen Thi Vien.
And ladies and gentlemen, gold medalist and SEA Games champion, Vietnam.
Silver medalist in 2013, gold in 2015 by 9.13 seconds, and gold once again in 2017. Her next stop in this event, the Asian Games, and hopefully 3 in a row to match the feats of Juni Sung and Nurul Huda Abdullah in the 400 meters freestyle. 14 gold medals now.
Ladies and gentlemen,
for Nguyen Thi Vien.
National anthem of Vietnam. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the 29th SEA Games medalist for women's 400 meters freestyle.
We were just talking about how many events Nguyen Thi Vien is going to be swimming. Well, she already has 4 down, and I believe there's 6 more to go. Only 6 for her. I think it's 10 this time around. She'll be involved in the 100 meters freestyle for women tomorrow, and I believe too she'll be swimming. Well, I think that's the only thing that she's involved in tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, unless she is also swimming in the 50 meters butterfly. You never know with her. There's still the individual medley races in the 200 and 400, which she is also as hot a favorites as she has been in the 200 back and the 400 freestyle, the 2 races that she won gold in today with consummate ease. Speaking of which, the events tomorrow involve a certain event where we will be able to say the words, "Here comes the Olympic champion," for the first time in Southeast Asian swimming. The 100 meters butterfly. But what we look forward to tomorrow, let's have a recap of what happened today. Gerald, just as it was yesterday, 3 gold medals for Singapore. After barren spell in the first couple of races, Roanne Ho got things going for us.
Very happy for Roanne. I mean, we spoke about it a couple of times already. I mean, she's gone through quite a tough time with injuries this year, so very happy for her, and this is the only event she's having at the SEA Games, so kudos to her. She can now enjoy the rest of the days in KL.
It's her only race here, and it was a golden one for Roanne Ho. As you say as well, I mean, it's not just you. I think the rest of Singapore, especially her family and friends, must be so happy she's gone through, and I think that's was that for the crowd or was that for the skies? Because she's got the both of them to thank for being able to even be fit enough for these games. Kwa Cheng Wen then made it back-to-back winning events for Singapore with victory in the 200 meters butterfly.
I guess no surprise here, right? I mean, this was one that we expected someone to win by quite a margin, and he did that. Surprisingly, this is the first time he's getting a goal in a 200 meter butterfly. But again, I think this is the first time that he's swimming this event fresh. In the past SEA Games, he's always had another event before this, so he has never had a chance to swim this fresh.
So, and also he doesn't have that figure of Joseph Schooling with him as well, who didn't pencil himself down to make it 4 in a row in this race, but Singapore became the first country to win the 200 meters butterfly for 4 games in a row, All thanks to Kwa Zheng-wen with his first individual goal of the 2017 SEA Games. And then, of course, it ended up with Joseph Schooling leading off the relay squad in record-breaking performance.
Great swim by the boys. Again, Joseph, I think, was about a second, slightly less than a second off his best time, but I think the other three boys did an excellent job, you know, and they still managed to break the SEA Games national record by a couple of seconds.
Malaysia finished in second spot and Indonesia in third, but just to name them, it's Joseph, Darren, Danny, and then Zheng-wen to take it home, to give him enough rest from the 200 meters butterfly exertions. But it's these four boys that have managed to clinch it, break the record, and their next stop for Joe, Darren, and gang is Jakarta 2018. Even Joe's surprised by that time as well, and he's someone who's used to breaking records. So well done indeed, Team Singapore at the swimming. The spirit has been mighty high. The squad has been super happy, and they should be, especially with their golden performance. 3 of the best yesterday, 3 of the best on day 2 today as well. So the boys are ready to receive their gold medals, and I would say it live on air right now. Commentators faux pas, and thanks Gerald for actually pointing it out. In the excitement of actually watching the clock and watching the swimmers swim and looking at their personal best times to match each leg, I actually got Danny and Darren confused. It was Danny for the second leg, and what was it? Hang on. It was Darren for the second leg and Danny for the third leg. And even now, while talking about it, they're almost getting confused as well. You know, the double D's there, that's what happens. But it was Darren for the second leg and then Danny for the third leg. And while you're looking at your notes and looking at their best times and what they've done this year, especially with Danny's achievements, cutting it down from the 200 to the 100 and the times he's been clocking, and Darren, the crazy times he's been clocking below 50 seconds as well. I did not see the swimming style, and because of that, you tend to forget. And it was Gerald who actually pointed out about the high vertical catch, which is very much Darren's style as opposed to Danny's style.
That's an honest mistake, Mark. It's all right. I mean, I think both of us were so excited watching that race, right? I mean, both of us were on our feet with this, watching what time these guys are going to do, because this, as you mentioned earlier, is the dream team, right? We're so excited what they can achieve in the coming years, starting with next year's Asian Games. Absolutely right.
So the excitement sometimes does get to us right here in the commentary booth as well. And Singapore win the gold medal easily, but it's a record that they set, and they smashed it by quite a little bit. Although you feel that there's still a few seconds there that they can trim off. You feel that way, especially if they're tapered right for the meet. All four of them tapered right for the meet. You feel that they could probably go below 318, maybe even sub 317. Who knows?
I think so. Very possible, right? And I think if they spend more time together training with one another, they also can practice their relay starts. So I think obviously we know that Joe and Jim go to school in the US, Darren goes to school in the UK, so they haven't had much time to gel as a team and to work on their relay takeovers. So obviously with this competition, as I mentioned earlier, is them versus the clock. So they have very, very safe relay takeovers. But you know, if they're going to go to the try and make the Olympic finals or get a medal at the next Asian Games, they're going to have to practice a lot of these starts, because they cannot be doing safe starts during those races, because it's them competing against other people, right? So you know, I think that they have a lot of room to improve, particularly on those relay takeovers.
Right, for Singapore, of course, a lot of questions were asked about whether Joe's up for the SEA Games now that he's achieved the Olympic Games, bronze medals at the World Championships. How does he get up for it? Well, I can tell you one of the things that he gets up for in being at the SEA Games is in the relay squad. That's what it is. Milan Kui, the chef de mission, giving out the medals this time out, but being in the relay squad, leading the team off, being team captain as well of the male side. I mean, this is what Joseph Schooling is doing right here at the SEA Games, because the relay means everything to him here.
Of course, I mean, everyone says swimming is not a team sport, right? So the relay is as close to a team sport as you can get. It just brings out the best in everyone, and even with Zheng Wen, right? I think the SEA Games is not much of a, it's not as big a competition to him anymore, but we saw his emotions right when he touched. He was extremely excited again just to achieve what they have together as a team.
Absolutely right, and those are the things that they can talk about for the rest of their lives. Whereas with your individual achievements, someone needs to ask you, but when the four of them get together one day, all over again, 10, 20 years from now, they can talk about that night in KL where they smashed the record, the four of them together. And that's what the beauty of the relays are all about. And they're all almost the same age as well, I believe. Danny probably the oldest in the quartet, Darren the youngest. So round about the same age, and really almost at the zenith of their careers, which is nice to see. We could see, I mean, you talk about Zheng Wen, he's usually very quiet, but he was unusually a little noisier today before the start of the races, trying to G his teammates up, and Joe Schooling before the start of the race giving high fives, especially to Darren, who's probably the baby, the new member of the squad now that Clement is not there. He was giving a high five to Darren and saying, come on, let's go for it right now, before he even took to the blocks.
Exactly, he did, right? So I believe this is Darren's first SEA Games gold medal, so obviously a very exciting time for him. He's got many more SEA Games to go. And we'll look at it. I mean, imagine him getting a his first SEA Games gold medal this year, and next year possibly a medal at the Asian Games.
Oh yeah, and it might not be his last as well, because let's not forget, I mean, even in the 100 meters freestyle, I know he's up against Joe Schooling then, but let's not forget he's got the 50 meters freestyle as well. And looking at his form today, the way he swam in that 4x100 meters, he looked in prime condition perhaps to attack and keep the gold medal in Singapore.
Yes, I definitely think so.
Malaysia with a fabulous last leg swim from the person on your right, Wilson Sim. You're talking about getting yourself in fine form for the games. He has looked that way.
And SEA Games champion
his second
with a new
medal of the meet. But here is the quartet,
Singapore.
the dream team. Well, name them whatever you want. They are SEA Games champions, record holders, and the future of not just Singapore but Southeast Asian swimming, in their hopes of encroaching into the Olympic Games and the Asian Games. Next stop, Jakarta, but these boys as a quartet, I am sure, are eyeing Tokyo more than Jakarta, because that will be monumental. That will be a real milestone if they're able to achieve it. And a medal at the Asian Games will just be the perfect start and platform for, as what Gerald calls, a possibility, a real possibility of qualifying for the finals of the Olympic Games. The chemistry is right there, all smiles. They love each other's company. And Joe, despite being an Olympic champion, still finds a time to hang out with his teammates, and he loves this brotherhood time together with his band of brothers who have won the 4x100 meters freestyle relay. Well done indeed, Joe Schooling, Darren Lim, Danny Yeo and Kwa Tseng Wen. Tomorrow, Joe swims, of course, in the first race of the night, the 100 meters butterfly, the race that got him the Olympic gold medal, the women's 100 meters freestyle, the 200 meters freestyle for men, 50 meters butterfly for women, the 200 meters backstroke for men, and of course it ends with the female quartet in the 4x200 meters freestyle. We won it in the 4x1, and let's see if Shanti Pereira, Veronica Shanti Pereira, who did so well in creating a new national record earlier on, will medal in the 100 meters.
Tipat will do battle for the gold, silver and bronze, and indeed for the title of Southeast Asia's fastest woman. Going in lane 2, Tastapon Wanakit had an erratic season so far, and it showed in the heats. Fairly unconvincing for the Thai athlete, the silver medalist from 2015.
601,
Tastapon Wanakit.
Lane 3, 557, Yon Rose Nelson, the Philippines.
So Sunrose Nelson of the Philippines, 400-meter record holder for Philippines. We're going in lane 4. Veronica Shanti Pereira. She set a new national record and personal best in the semi-finals with an 11.69 or 7.9. But this is the favourite for the gold medal, Husnia bin Zulkifli. She's been running in South Africa, and she set a new Malaysian record of 11.45 in South Africa back in April. Going in lane 6, Lee Tu Chin, 2015 Sea Schoolgirls champion. She's the Asia Beach champion over 60 metres. She won the Thai Open and a bronze at the Asian Grand Prix. This is one of the legends of Malaysian athletics, Siti Fatimah bin Mohammed, 11-year veteran of Malaysian athletics. 11.91 to win the Malaysian Open in July. It was her first national gold medal. Going in lane 8 with an 11.82 in the semi-finals. Leti Mong Thien of Vietnam goes in 8.
Lane 9, 597.
We're going in lane 9 after an 11.87. Supawan Tipat, one of 2 Thai sprinters in this final. The starter and scoreboard asking for quiet. Ronakit, Nelson, Pereira, Zulkifli, Lee Tu Chin, Siti Fatimah bin Mohammed, Leti Mong Thien and Tipat of Thailand from lanes 2 to 9. That's the favourite, Husnia bin Zulkifli. Veronica Shanti Pereira, undoubtedly quick, bronze medalist in 2015. Lee Tu Chin, she's run the 4 fastest times by SEA Games women this season. And she's going to have to run quicker than somebody who has the crowd behind her. Somebody who's twin sister also. A very solid runner, who's Husna bin Zulkifli. Twin sister of Husnia. I'll tell you what, Lee Tu Chin though has looked really good throughout these championships. For me, she's the one to catch. The warm-ups, the semi-final, just how comfortable she's looked. Really hasn't strained. Veronica Shanti Pereira's been in good form, new national record in the semi-finals. Well, they all get away fairly quickly, and indeed it's Zulkifli with the quicker start, but it's Lee Tu Chin who settles into her stride, and she's going to run to glory, she's going to run to gold. Veronica Shanti Pereira closing quickest, just not quick enough to claim the silver, claims the bronze for Singapore, but Lee Tu Chin finishes ahead of Zulkifli for the silver. Shanti Pereira brings home Singapore's bronze. She claimed the bronze in 2015 over this distance, she gets it again. But Lee Tu Chin, the 2015 SEA Schoolgirls champion, is now the 2017 SEA Games champion. She is the fastest woman in Southeast Asia. Didn't have the quickest start, but boy did she settle into her stride fairly quickly. Veronica Shanti Pereira, another 5 meters and she might have had enough to catch Zulkifli. Certainly was closing fastest, but that is just a consummate display. Just looks so easy. She's looked so comfortable in warm-up. Her semi-final looked fairly emphatic. She ran sub 11.5. Zulkifli was touted after her sessions in South Africa earlier this year, and a new Malaysian record of 11.45 and a wind-assisted 11.36 to be the favourite, to be the woman to beat. But in a relatively slow time for Lee Tu Chin, 11.56. She's done enough to claim the gold medal, slower than her semi-final 11.49, and certainly slower than some of the times she's been running this year. But what this means, though, is that Vietnam have a second gold medal of the evening. and there's potentially a third in offer as well in the women's javelin, where Bui is leading. But some wonderful celebrations for Vietnam. Le Tu Chin will celebrate this gold medal. Just been consistently rising in her performances after winning the 2015 Sea Schoolgirls Championships. Asia Beach champion over 60 meters last year, the Thai Open earlier this year, and has just been running quicker and quicker in the build-up to this event. 11.56 is not her quickest time, but it is enough to be crowned the Sea Games champion of 2017 and officially Southeast Asia's fastest woman. Untitled Husnia Zulkifli finishes second overall. A disappointing 11.74 for her, but she'll take the result. She's got a silver medal. Nothing wrong for the 24-year-old Malaysian record holder. Supawan having missed out on a medal. Supawan Tipat of Thailand. The bronze medal going to Veronica Shanti Pereira, who so sensationally won the 200-meter gold 2 years ago in her home country Singapore. And for the second Sea Games in succession, she's claimed the bronze in the women's 100-meter. 11.76. The national record 11.73 in the semi-finals. Not the best of starts. She was closing very quickly. Another few meters, she would have had the silver, but not to be. She still has the 200-meter to come. That's the women's 4x100 relay. So Singapore have a couple of medals now in the events. Besides silver in the women's 400-meter hurdles. Confirmation then, as Le Tu Chin of Vietnam claims the gold ahead of Untitled Husnia bin Zulkifli of Malaysia. Singapore's Veronica Shanti Pereira with the bronze medal. Supawan Tipat just missing out. Back to the women's javelin, where Devi Jayandindaran is currently in fifth position overall after 4 rounds. Just been battling to get the technique right, to get the javelin to hold. Slowing up, stepping out to the side, and again the transition is lacking. It'll be legal, but it's well short of a decent mark, and indeed steps over the line and says, no, let's not measure this one. And the fifth attempt is a poor one. Limping away. Maybe she's done a little damage in the landing or the takeoff. Competing in front of her home fans. There's Evelyn Palabrica, sitting in bronze medal position after that 47.21 throw in the third round. Nata Nachan and Bui Thi Truan of Vietnam, currently the top two. Trying to talk to the javelin, doesn't get the distance he requires.
100 meters dash final.
Might be just a little further up. Might improve the distance, but won't improve her placing. So 46.14 remains third. Next up, Na Chan of Thailand, currently second. The event many are looking forward to is the men's 100-meter final. Well, it should be an interesting battle indeed, building up between Marco Villon of the Philippines and Royce Linton of Malaysia. These two have both been 150 runners this season, and both have done So confirmation of the start list then for the men's 100-meter. Calvin Kang goes in lane 2. Naspi Bobi of Indonesia will go in 3. Jonathan Yepa of Malaysia. Eric Cray in 5. Khairul Hafiz in 6. Minpra, Nisuon and Niswandi going in 7, 8 and 9. But to introduce a very likeable individual, always with a smile on his face. Not quite the showman of other sprinters, but 4th in 2015. Calvin Kang of Singapore goes in 2. Naspi Bobi, the 29-year-old Indonesian silver medalist in 2015, will go in lane 3. Well, going in lane 4, representing the host nation, the 21-year-old Jonathan Yepa, 10:28 at the Korea Open back in June, part of his build-up. Going in lane 5, already a gold medalist tonight. Eric Cray has already won the men's 400-meter hurdles title. He's looking to do the double again at the SEA Games. He's looking to do it though on the same day. Khairul Hafiz bin Jantam, a 19-year-old 2016 Asian Junior champion. This Malaysian has got speed, serious speed. PB of 10:18 is a Malaysian record. Jirapong Minapra, the Olympic flag bearer at the 2010 Youth Games in Singapore for Thailand. Gold medalist in 2013, bronze in 2015. Kritsada Namsoon of Thailand goes in lane 8. 10:64 in the semi-finals. The man from Indonesia, he's got a bronze and a silver in the last 2 Southeast Asia Games. Iswandi of Indonesia goes in 9. Calvin Kang, before he had turned 20, had represented Singapore at the Olympic Games, Commonwealth Games, Asian Games, at SEA Games. He's in 2. Cray, already a gold medalist at in the 400-meter hurdles tonight, looking to, for the second games in succession, do a 100 and 400 hurdles double. Minapra, 100 and 200 gold double in 2013 in Myanmar. And then in 6, watch out for Khairul Hafiz Jantam of Malaysia. Very quickly away for the man going in lane 5, Eric Cray, the 28-year-old, but he's not going to be able to hold on here. It's on his outside. Jantam, the 19-year-old, is going to claim glory. He's going to go for gold. He's got the gold. This is just unbelievable. The 2016 Asian Junior champion, 10:37. It's not his quickest time. He's nearly 0.2 of a second off his Malaysian record. He broke that record that had stood for over 20 years. He broke a 200-meter record that stood for over 49, but he's just stepped up as required, as expected, in front of his home fans. and won the blue ribbon event as a teenager. He is Southeast Asia's fastest person, and he's not yet 20. Well, Craig, in trying to dip for the gold, in trying to catch Hafiz, might have even missed out on the silver. But spare a thought for Eric Craig. He's run 4 races in a day. And while he claimed the gold in the men's 400-meter hurdles, it was by 2/100ths of a second, and he's missed out on the gold in the men's 100 final. Certainly not the quickest time, but there's absolute delight for the home fans. The 29th SEA Games being hosted in Malaysia by Kuala Lumpur, and a local lad has claimed the title. 10.34 in the semi-finals, 10.37 to win the gold. But very impressive for a man who as a junior was expected to step up to the senior ranks, and he has done so in impressive fashion at these SEA Games in front of the partisan home support. This is a gold that Malaysia will long celebrate. Well, being mobbed by photographers, but Craig got off to a superb start, but by the 20-meter mark it was already Khairul Hafiz bin Jantam that had taken over the lead. Craig was always going to struggle. He's got 4 races in him today. The question is whether or not he actually got to the silver. In trying to dip for the line, he's completely lost it as well. I think he's only finished with a bronze. Kritsana Namsoon of Thailand looked to be the athlete who claimed the silver medal. And Craig will have to settle for the bronze, but just trying to dip, desperately lunging towards the line. Speaking of lunging though, an awkward fall for the young Malaysian. He's taken some skin off his elbow, but it won't detract from his celebrations. There was some disappointment for Malaysia in the women's 100-meter final, but not to be in the men's 100-meter final. There's a man who will be back in 2 years' time, and perhaps not only looking for gold, looking to break Rubo's SEA Games record of 10.17. Well, Khairul Hafiz Jantam, it's his opportunity to meet the Prime Minister of Malaysia, Najib Razak, sitting up in the stands and enjoying this action. Straight up to the VIP section for the young sprinter. Photo opportunities all round, and still wearing an enormous smile. Such potential, and don't only watch him in the 100, watch him in the 200 as well. When he broke the Malaysian record in the 200, he had broken a record that had stood for 49 years. When he ran the 10.18, this saw him break the Malaysian record in the 100 meter. It was a record that had stood for 20. He's doing things that no Malaysian has done in decades. And now he's got a gold medal at the SEA Games. He can convert that to some success across all of Asia. He'll be looking to be among the best on the continent, and indeed around the globe. These celebrations will continue. He still has the 200 metre to come. We'll be looking out for that event. Perhaps the opportunity of a 100-200 double. But for now, he's just living in the moment and enjoying every little bit of attention